Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
Agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content now. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back for another amazing show with another interesting topic, because that's what we do over here at the Roger Report Live. We have all kinds of great and interesting topics, because that's what great shows do. And today, we're going to take a little time out, and we're going to be discussing a little thing called women, okay? Not just women, though, not just the concept that they're women. We're going to talk about the privileged minority. Yes, y'all, we're going to talk about the privileged minority. And yes, I do believe this is necessary. We don't have to talk about the privileged minority. Now, before we get into this, let me take a moment out to say shout out to everybody who comes to the channel and give views on a regular basis. You know, this is what makes the family over here, y'all. The people who come give me views on a regular basis. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to the people who leave comments after the stream. Appreciate y'all big time. Shout out to everybody who hypes the channel up every chance they get. You know, much love to you. Shout out to everybody who hits that like button. And y'all, I want y'all to do these things no matter how you found the channel. If you found it yesterday, if you found it tomorrow, whatever. When you go through the videos, make sure you start hitting that like button on all of them. Make sure you hype it up. Anytime you can help the channel, go ahead and do so, because you help me in the algorithm. So shout out to each and every one of y'all who do that, because I do appreciate you, you know. And I do it for you. I do this for you. So, do a little something. Okay. And shout out to everybody who goes above and beyond the call of duty, who becomes financial contributors at the Roger Report Live, because number one, y'all allow me to do things that I could not do without you. And that's just keeping it real. We can make the channel a better place because of you. And I appreciate that. All right. And everybody over here at the Roger Report Live who becomes a financial contributor is an important person here. And that's just real talk. All money on the wood is good over here. And I want to say shout out to my main man, Frank Tate. Frank Tate is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to Frank Tate, sponsor of today's stream. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Now, y'all, today we're going to get into women, the privileged minority. And I know this will probably be difficult for some people to really catch and understand. Now, some of us is going to be easy. But there will be others of us who not going to necessarily get it. All right? They're not going to necessarily get it. We're going to talk. And well, you know what? My bad. Before I go too far into this, first of all, let me say shout out to the people who then came and started checking in over here. Because when you start a show, it's always great to see you got people coming in when you get a show started. But we got to acknowledge, what we like to call around here, first person in, the Highlander of today's stream. So shout out to my main man, 79 Kaliakate is in the building. Got his Highlander. Hey, man, appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you getting that Highlander spot. If y'all ain't been a Highlander, what's wrong with you, man? You should have many Highlanders under your belt. Why you ain't got none? What you doing? Let's get it together, okay? Let's make it happen, okay? Shout out to Louis Kanye, or I should say Red Pill Sleeper Cell is in the building. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. We got my main man who helps keep the order going smooth around here. Shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. Glad to have you in the building, my brother. Glad to have you in the building. And shout out to the whole pit crew. Real talk. Shout out to all of y'all. There go my main man on the pit crew as well. Mr. Suge to you is right there. Glad to see you, my brother. Glad to see you. We got Trey Bentley in the house. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Tunnel Runner, what's good, my brother? Great to see you. Great to see you. The Great Black Reset is pulled up a seat at the cool table. Glad to have you here. My main man, Floyd Thompson, is in the building. Great to see you. Great to see you. Inspired Truth Broadcast. What's happening, my brother? Shout out to Night Sometimes. Great to see you in the building. Great to see you in the building. Shout out to Ahmed Global. What's happening, my brother? What's happening, my brother? Great to see you. Superstar Jay Quick just cruised in. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Jerome Payne, what's up, my brother? What's up, my brother? Good to see all y'all coming in. And y'all, as we get into the show, this is an extremely necessary conversation. Okay? And it's something men gonna have to open their mouths up about, because there are things being spread around that just ain't true. Okay? They're just not true. And at the end of the day, if you don't fight something that ain't true, and you just let people say stuff and we don't say nothing about it, it's hard to have a legitimate reason to be mad when you could fight and you don't fight. And I get it, y'all. We all got to take on the fights that we think are important to us. We only got so much time in the day. You got to make your choice. But I think people need to really think about what's an important choice to make. Okay, what's an important choice to make? And when it comes down to it, I do believe we have to get into dismantling this false narrative about women and rights. Now, y'all, I did go over this last Michelle Obama interview. Okay, we did that yesterday, covered it yesterday. It was inserted. Now, it wasn't by Michelle Obama, it was the white lady, which technically kind of makes it worse. It was the white lady, but now Michelle did not disagree at all. She just let it ride. She actually made a statement that a lot of women believe, y'all. A lot of women believe this. Y'all know what she said? She said men have more rights than women. And guys should understand, a lot of women say this stuff. They say on a regular basis, you can find different women saying something about men have more rights than women. Or you will hear them saying the opposite. Women have less rights than men. Same thing, just the opposite way of saying it, And a lot of people just accept this like it has something to do with reality. You know what? Shout out to all the people listening around the world. I appreciate y'all. You listen to me and you somewhere outside of America, shout out to you, shout out to you. I know there's places that are somewhat similar to America, then there's places that are not so similar to America. But shout out to all y'all, holding me down in different places on the planet. Love and appreciate y'all too. Y'all are never left out, okay? So shout out to the whole audience. Now, the thing is, some of us know better than others that women actually got rights in this country. I'm not saying any country is bad for limiting women's rights where they happen to be, because that's their country. I'm not telling nobody else, how they should run their country. That's their country. They should do what they want to do over there. Their way of life is their way of life. I ain't gonna tell you to be like us. Now over here in America, well, I have vested interest in this country. Now I'm gonna say something about what we're supposed to do over here and how things supposed to be over here. And that's just real talk because I live here. This idea that extra benefits should be given to women needs to stop. If you're going to have something where we have to be equals. Now, my thing, I'm not tripping, y'all. I'm a man. I'm not worried about equality. Okay? You get yours, I'm going to get mine. I get it. Okay? I ain't worried about equality. I'm a black man in America. The last thing that I'm going to worry about is equality. Okay? That's about the last thing I'm going to worry about. Now, I ain't going to say the last thing, but, it's not at the forefront. No. Equal opportunity is a good thing. And I do believe in equal opportunity. All right? But it's opportunity, not outcomes, opportunity. I just want a chance to win my race. That's all. Now, if I get into a race and I start running and somebody beat me in that race, I ain't mad at them for winning. Shout out to them. Now, maybe they had an advantage over me. And, eventually, you're going to run into that person that's going to get you. Okay? We all run different races. Whatever your race is in life, sometimes you come across the person that can get you. You might be great at all types of things, but somebody else you may run into that just do it a little bit better than what you do. Or sometimes you're blessed enough to run into the person that do a whole lot better than you, and that makes you up your game. Well, that's what life is about, what it's supposed to be about in America. We all supposed to get a chance to run the race. All right. Now, a lot of women take this position that they want to run a fair race, but then they want all these advantages. Why do you want advantages in a race that you claim you want equality in? If you want equality, you got to accept that sometimes you're going to lose. Now, that's the reality, y'all. That is the reality. And a lot of men need to get comfortable, articulating this reality to women. But we as black men, we've been trained to be afraid of women. That's our socialization. It's been happening to us since we were small children. We are socialized to be afraid of women. So they can say stuff and do stuff and we'll just let it ride. Now, ain't nobody going to fix that for us. That's something we're going to have to fix ourselves. No matter what you got to say about it, ain't nobody coming to fix it for you. You have to fix it yourself. And since you have to fix it yourself, you might as well tell the truth about it. Women going to say a lot of stuff. Okay? I ain't tripping that they have a right to talk. They can say what they want to say. But when it comes down to it, so do we. Now, again, women push forth this idea that they have less rights than men. Now, let's examine that idea. What right does any man in America have that a woman does not? And see, if we pay more attention, we'll understand that they push this idea that men have more rights than them, but no one can ever tell you what the rights are. The unfortunate part is a lot of men are afraid to ask. And truth be told, mainstream media don't even want you to ask. You know, women say all day long, women got less rights than men. Well, honestly, I don't have any rights that they don't have. I just don't. Okay. Y'all, if you don't truly know what your rights are the abilities that your creator gave you that does not infringe upon someone else's rights. That's what your rights are. All right. You have a right to walk down the street and flail your arms, and that's perfectly fine. What you do not have a right to do is walk down the street and flail your arms where you end up hitting another person. You don't have a right to do that. Now, why don't you have a right to do that? Because once you hit somebody else without their permission, you're now infringing upon their right. Your rights stop where they infringe upon someone else's. Now, my thing is, that's cool, that's fair, I ain't tripping. Okay? That's cool, that's fair, I ain't tripping. All right? But when it comes down to it, there's a real thing that has to be looked at. What can I do that she can't? All right? That's the questions a lot of people should look at. What can I do that she can't? And I'm going to tell you what that thing is. Nothing. Not from a rights perspective. Now, because I have asked women on multiple occasions, what are these rights that they're discussing that men have? And again, y'all, women are not prepared to even address the question. I'm going to just keep it real with you. They're not even prepared to address the question because they believe something's wrong with you to even ask what the differences are. You are saying to me that women do not have the rights that men have. So, okay, well, what rights are you referring to? And then you'll get some people acting like, who are you to even ask this question? Or, something's wrong with you for even asking. They come off with this attitude where they don't want to answer the question, but they want to come off in a way where they want you to believe there's some sort of insult because you asked the question. Okay? Now, this is the thing. Why are you insulted that I'm asking a totally legitimate question about something you are asserting? You are asserting that women don't have the same rights that I got. Now, see, I'm a fair-minded person. I've always admitted that I'm a fair-minded person. Now, am I gonna play favoritism from time to time? Sure. I'm a human being. I'm just not gonna be fake about it. I'm a human being. I got emotions. I got feelings. I got all that. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna play favorites sometime. But if you're gonna assert to me that men have more rights than women, it's as a man, why wouldn't you expect me to be curious what these rights are? And see, a lot of men, again, are not prepared to ask questions like this or to address people when they come off a kind of way when the question is asked. People try to make you feel ashamed. Well, I'm gonna say a lot of women gonna try to make you feel ashamed that you even asked. But as a man, if you want me to be real with you, if you want me to be a quote unquote better man for you, if you want me to look at women in a serious way, or as women say, look at them as equals, if you want me to do that, I have to ask, what rights do I as a man have that you do not? Because, hey, I'm on your side. I agree that you should have rights. I'm not even tripping that you want the same rights as me. I ain't even tripping about that. But how do I help you as a man achieve this if I cannot identify the rights that you are missing that I have? How can I be an ally to your purpose if I can't come up with the rights that you are missing? How do I help you? Okay. See, women want to come off like men are monsters. Men don't care about what we talking about. You know, you men are bullying us. We hear stuff like the patriarchy, which is implying that women are being bullied some kind of way because the patriarchy stops them from being able to do what men can do. And my thing is, look, I get that's your belief. And you say, we need men as allies. Cool. I understand where you're coming from. You know, I talked about some of the shaming language that was used yesterday. And it's not like this feminist shameless language ain't used by feminists on a regular basis. It happens all the time. Okay. I was just, some of the stuff was just kind of, funny to me because I understand stuff so much. And they hear the first lady and some white lady push this narrative. It's almost crazy at this point. Okay, because it's like if you actually buy into the stuff that you're saying, you don't have a grip on reality. So I'm just talking to people. I'm trying to make sure I stay in reality. Look, I ain't got no problem with no women having rights. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm just unaware of the rights that I have that she doesn't. So I'm gonna ask, what rights you talking about? That's all that is. I'm gonna ask, what rights you talking about? Now, of course, women can't tell me these rights because they don't seem to exist. Okay, they don't seem to exist. Now, women will look at me and act like I should be ashamed for, again, even asking the question, how can I help you get the rights I got if you won't tell me what is missing? Y'all, I've said many, many times, sports is a good way to look at life because it explains a lot of stuff. All right, let's say I'm the manager of the team. I got a 15-man roster on the team. Okay, 15-man roster, right? But I'm the manager. I'm supposed to make sure these guys had everything they got. Okay, so we playing basketball. I'm the manager. I'm supposed to make sure everybody on the team get the stuff they need so they can play ball. That means I got to get 15 uniforms, right? I got to get 15 uniforms because I got 15 guys. Okay. And 12 of them got to be ready to go because it's basketball. 12 got to be ready to go. Okay. At least 12 you're supposed to have ready to go. Now, you want all 15 ready, but you got people on the injury list, whatever. Okay. But at least 12 supposed to be ready to go. Now, if you telling me my team has these things that your team don't got, I want to know what they are. So if I compare my team as a man to your team as a woman, not that the two teams would necessarily play each other, but let's just say they're going to play each other for some exhibition game. Okay, let's just say. And the woman's complaining to me that my team has an advantage. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, your team has an advantage because they have more stuff than our team has. So what am I naturally going to say? Okay, well, what are you missing? I got 12 uniform guys ready to go. I got 3 on injury reserve. Do you have 12 women that have uniforms ready to go? Now, if you say, yeah, you got 12, well, I got 12, you got 12. That sounds even to me. Okay, cool. So we're not talking about the uniforms. Okay. All right, let's say I got a gym to practice in. Do they have a gym to practice in? Well, yeah, we got a gym too. We got a gym. Okay, cool. All right. So you got a gym, I got a gym. So now I'm looking at, okay, we still equal. That's what I'm thinking. We still equal. So what's going on? Well, we need material so we can draw up a playbook. I got material so I can draw up a playbook. They got material so they can draw up a playbook. Okay, to me, we still sound equal. But see, at the end of the day, you have 2 equal teams. Now, let's say I'm coaching the men. I ain't gonna even say I'm the coach. I'm just the manager. I didn't say it already, okay? So my team wins, her team loses. Now she's saying we got stuff that they don't. Can you identify what we got that you don't have? We got access to showers, y'all got access to showers. We got access to uniforms, y'all got access to uniforms. We get access to practice time. Y'all got access to practice time. We got access to the materials to draw up plays. You got material to draw up plays. What I got that you don't have. Now, realistically speaking, if you had a men's team going up against women's team, yeah, it's going to be a big expectation that the men are going to win. And the men are going to win a lot. Okay? Now, maybe, just maybe the women team win every once in a while. Okay, let's say it's like the NBA. They played 82 games with each other. Okay? Maybe the guys win. Let's be nice about it. Let's be nice about it. Let's say the men go 72-10. I'm just gonna throw some random numbers out there, y'all. Some random numbers. Let's say the men play the women 82 times, and the men win 72 games, and the women got 10 of them in there. They got 10. Okay, cool. They got 10. Now, a lot of people will say, well, the men dominated the women. All right, cool. Shout out to Shed Light. He said 81-1. I Shed Light, I just said I'm gonna be nice. I said I'm gonna be nice. Yo, so I'm just using some quote unquote random numbers to highlight dominance. Okay, I'm just using some random numbers. The men go 72. The women go 10. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good record. 72-10. That sounds pretty good. Okay. You know, that sound pretty good. Okay. I believe if you can win 72 games out of 82, you done did a great job. It's fantastic. All right. But now the women are complaining that they're not winning the way the men are winning. But you want to have equality. What am I supposed to do about the fact that the men keep winning? The men done won 72 games. The women done won 10. Now, the women are coming to me because they believe that I have something they don't have. I asked them, what do I have that you don't have access to? Because I want it to be fair. Now, let's not trip, y'all. I want it to be fair. I want you to have the same access stuff that I got. Now, for me to be on the opposing team, quote unquote, for me to help you as a person that's on the opposing team, I got to be able to identify what you are missing that I have access to. And if you can't tell me as the opposing team what you don't have access to that I do have access to, how am I supposed to help you? So now, at some point, if you keep telling me this, year in, year out, y'all, we go 72-10 against these women. Year in, year out. It's been 15 years. We done went 72-10 15 times. The women say they just want an equal opportunity to win games. Now, if I talk to you every single year, if it's just one time a year, now, of course, we do way more than that. But if I just only talk to you one time a year about what you need access to, and you keep lacking an ability to express to me what these things are, you can't tell me what it is. I don't know. I got it. Okay. So I ain't missing it. I got it. I'm not missing it. I got it. I acknowledge that I got it. I want it to be fair. So I want you to have the access I have to whatever it is that you need access to. Maybe y'all don't have ice tubs. I don't go into the women's locker room. So I don't know that you ain't got no ice tubs. So my thing is, tell me you ain't got no ice tubs. My guys can can sit in ice water after the games, before the game, well, whenever's convenient for them. They can do that. I would assume that the women can do the same thing, but I ain't in the women's locker room. Now, if I say, okay, well, we got ice tubs in the locker room. Do y'all have ice tubs? If you tell me, yes, I have ice tubs, then I don't understand what the problem is. I just don't understand what the problem is. Now, a woman can look at me and talk to me like I am wrong for not knowing what the problem is. But how am I supposed to know what you ain't got if I got it already? I don't get to see everything you get to see. So I'm asking you as a man, a fair-minded man that does not mind you having an equal opportunity. What is it that I have that you don't? I don't know your inventory the way I know our inventory. You can't tell me what this is, or eventually I got to take on the attitude, you refuse to tell me what it is. And if I take on the attitude that you refuse to tell me what it is, you tell me, well, that's not the right attitude to take. It's not that we don't refuse to tell you what it is. We want you to understand what we don't have. Okay, cool. You want me to understand? Okay, baby, what it is? What is it? Tell me what it is, because I don't know. I need to know so I can make sure y'all have an equal opportunity. So now when you can't tell me what it is after I've acknowledged that I just don't know how to understand what you're missing, now you can't tell me what it is. So if I think you're refusing to tell me, you say I'm wrong, that's a bad conclusion to come to. Or what else can I come to? The other thing I can come to is you're lying. Okay, that's what I can come to. You're lying. If it is not that you don't refuse to tell me, my other conclusion is going to be you're lying to me. You do have access to everything I got access to. You just lying about it. I wouldn't lie. Sure you would. You're going 72 and 10 every year. You of course you would lie. You're embarrassed about the fact that you can do exactly what I can do and you can't get the outcomes I'm getting. That bothers you. And I understand that. Y'all, is that not how it is with men and women? Because again, I personally have never been able to identify a right that a man has living in the United States of America. Best country on earth. Not why you think it is. It's the country that got me. That's that's what makes this country the best on earth. It's the country that has me. Now we all can have our opinions about what the best countries are. I ain't telling you can't have your opinion about what the best country is, but this country got me, so I'm gonna put it at the top. Why? Because I live there, and that's fair for me to do. I didn't say you can't say where you live ain't the best country in the world to you. I'm saying for me, whatever the best country is, the one I live at. So I need to know what you're missing in order for me to help you. Because women say they want men to be allies, but you got to tell me what's missing. Now, shout out to Compassion Cal. He's been getting some stuff ready to show us. You know, I can't wait to see what he done dug up so we can see a piece of this. But I'm telling y'all, if I'm going 72 and 10, I'm the equipment manager. I want a fair contest. I want your women to have the same thing my guys have. I'm just an equipment manager, y'all. I ain't the coach. All right, I ain't the coach. I'm not telling them what plays to run. Okay, I'm just an equipment manager. All right, I didn't set this whole thing up. I just get the equipment so people can perform when they need to perform. When some guy's coming off the injured reserve list, I'm trying to make sure he got a uniform ready to go. Now, shout out to Compassion and Callous. We got 33 lights going on with 66 watches. Y'all, come on now. Come on. I get it. Some of y'all might be new, and I get that. But let's be reasonable right here, y'all. Let's be you over here at the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media, and you're giving me 33 out of 66. Come on now. Y'all can do something a little better than that. Okay. Give me something a little better than that. Okay. I'm giving you the good content. But back to what's at hand, though. Back to what's at hand. I'm trying to have an equal contest. I want my men to say they had a fair contest against you and they won fair and square. So I don't want you at a disadvantage. But if you won't tell me where your disadvantage is, how am I supposed to help you solve that? To me, it is a real arrogant attitude, a nasty attitude, truth be told, to tell me that I have some advantage, but you won't tell me what the advantage is, and I'm trying to be fair with you. At some point, I'm just going to take that as you being hostile. You're trying to create a hostile environment between us because you say you want it to be fair. I want it to be fair, and you won't tell me what I need to do to help you. That don't make sense. But let's roll this beautiful beam footage for now so we can see what's going on in the world. Shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. I don't know what he's going to say, but shout out to that brother. I know it's going to be something good. Go ahead and let it roll, my brother.
Topic 4.15, intersectionality and activism. Now, the key to intersectionality, and we've talked about this on this channel quite a bit, this is a concept that comes out of Kimberly Crenshaw's work, but it was popularized, before and after. I mean, you had people talking about interlocking systems of oppression, but at the end of the day, it deals with, the fundamental identities, as it were, and the extent to which Black women find themselves oppressed along a series of axes, right? Race, class, sex, gender, and a number of others that have become popular since 1989 to look at, right? At the time, Crenshaw made the argument that Black men and women shared much of that, except that Black men were privileged by their gender, right? So Black men and women were oppressed in terms of race, class, sex, gender, and everything else, except that Black men were privileged by gender rather than being oppressed by it. And because of that, because we were men, we enjoyed benefits that women didn't, right? Overlooking the works of people like Jim Sidanius that actually argued empirically that because we were men, we were actually sought after more, hyper arrested more, assaulted more. And he wasn't necessarily talking just about Black men. He was saying whenever you have one group that comes in and conquers another, it tends to be a male on male dynamic. So this is where you get to Dr. Tommy Curry's racism as misandric aggression, right? And racism, most prominent and visible and dominant features are often an attack on men, right?
Now, shout out to Dr. Tia Johnson. Brings up some good points. Now, maybe women hear facts differently than I hear facts. Because I just take facts, they are what they are. If you don't like a fact, the only thing you can do is change it if possible. Because you can't change the past. You can change things that are going on in the present. You can change things that may go on in the future, but you cannot change the past. And y'all, I have had conversations with women who have literally inserted the same, what I'm going to say is nonsense to me, because they told me that because I'm a Black man, I have privileges that they don't have. And I asked, to me, a perfectly logical question when this was inserted to me. Asserted to me, I would say. I just asked a woman who said it, what privileges are those? I ain't trying to be mean to you. I just don't know. I'm unaware. Okay, I'm unaware. What privileges are those? She tried to, quote unquote, shame me. Well, if you got to ask, something's wrong. Yeah, you're right. Something is wrong. But the question is, what's actually wrong? Because my best conclusion is what's wrong is you're lying to me and you think I'm supposed to be dumb enough to believe it. That's what's wrong. Okay, my mind don't necessarily go the same place your mind gonna go. You're lying to me and you think I'm supposed to be dumb enough to believe it. I don't get to ask a clarifying question. And see, y'all, this is the thing. A lot of men who've even come close to the realm of questioning what's going on, somebody will hit them and they'll try to shame them and then the man will back down. Now, me personally, I don't do that because I just want to know what the truth is. So if you tell me I have an advantage because I'm a man, and I'm not going to say you a liar just because you made that assertion. I get it. You're supposed to know everything you need to know to get past in life once you're 18 years old. But I understand how life is not fair. You just don't actually know. Okay, cool. I'm accepting you don't know everything you need to know. So now I'm going to ask you a question so you can clarify your position to me. Because I don't want you out here dealing with stuff that you shouldn't have to deal with, because I'm a fair-minded person. So as a man who wants women to be treated as equals, okay, there's a certain level of society where people should be treated as equals. It's at work. When you at work, you should be treated as an equal. People come in, they get paid money to get certain jobs done. Yes, if women are going to go into the workforce, they definitely should be treated as equals. All right? I ain't even saying they shouldn't be. Now, if you say you want to be equality, because that's what they say. They say they want it. Okay, cool. I'm as a man, I want you to have it. Now, how do I help you get it? I have to understand what you don't have. So just tell it to me. Why would you want someone who's trying to be your ally? Why would you want them struggling to figure out how to be your ally? If you have the information, just give it to me. Now, we live in a country that treats women, quote unquote, like a minority. As a man who lives in this country, I'm trying to figure out what minority status do they really have? Women outnumber men. Black women outnumber black men. Okay? That's just the reality of it. I understand when men grow up, okay, we boys starting off, we grow up. At some point, what should happen, until we can have a different system, what should happen is you should reach your 18th birthday and you should graduate high school. You know, if it's not graduating high school, it's completing some GED program, which is the same thing. Same thing. These two things should happen. Now, as a man, I understand I have to go into a world. I got to make a decision. I'm supposed to either get a job, start a business, join the military, or further my education by going to college or some form of trade school. These are my options as a man, so I can be taken care of in this society, meaning I got to put myself in position to get me taken care of. That's what I got to do as a man. Put myself in position where I can get something going on that I can use that thing to take care of me. Okay? Now, when I look at this society, I look at women who claim that they having an issue, I say, well, let's see what can I do versus what they can do. I can go get a job. My 18th birthday done came, and I done got out of high school, or I done completed some GED program. I'm an official adult at this point. Okay, I could go to college. Then I think about women; they can go to college. Okay, so we even right there. Okay, I can go. I can go to a trade school. They can go to a trade school. Okay, so both of us are allowed to further education. All right. Okay, well, maybe that's not what I want to do. Well, I can go join the military. Then I think about it, they can go join the military. Dang, I ain't got no advantage right there. Now, I could be looking for an advantage. I can't find one because they can go to the military just like I can. Dang it, I no advantage. All right, cool. Yeah, let's just say I'm evil. Okay, I'm an evil man, y'all. I want to beat the women, okay? For some reason, that's my competition, y'all. I'm sitting here as a man thinking that a woman is my competition. That I'm crazy. I'm evil, okay? I want to beat the women. So I said, you know what I'm gonna do so I can get ahead of these women? I can go get a job. You know what I find out? She can go get a job too. Matter of fact, she can work at the same place I can work. You know, she can work for the same place I can work for. Dang, I can't get her right there. Can't get her right there. Okay. That's cool. All right, she got me on that. She could go to school and further educate just like I could. She could, join the military just like I could. Dang it, she can go get a job just like I could. Okay, cool. So you know what I'm gonna do to beat her? I'm gonna go create a business so I can be better than her. Because I'm an evil man, and all I want to do in life is just be better than a woman. Okay, I'm an evil man. Okay, I'm gonna take that on the chin. I'm the evil man that wants to be better than women. I mean, ain't that how the feminists describe us as men? Ain't we evil? Okay, I'm the evil man that wants to be better than her. So I'm gonna go start a business so I can be better than her. You know what it turned out, y'all? It turned out she can start a business too. So I don't even know what the advantages is. You know, what are the advantages? Okay, because I don't know what it yet. I'm looking to be this evil man that wants to be better than women. I want to oppress the women. I need some leverage so I can oppress them. That's what I need. I know I want to oppress them because I'm evil. I'm trying to figure out how to oppress them, but it seems like everything that I run into, she can do it too. Now, how can I oppress a woman who can do exactly what I can do? But we're going to hold off right there. Just let that marinate for a little bit. Just let it marinate. And Compassion Kai's got something else he wants to bring to the table. So if this is footage, let it roll. If it's not footage, let me know. And I look like I'm gonna have to read, y'all. I'm gonna have to mess around and give me some glasses, y'all. Real talk. Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
First problem, and this is all just in this one paragraph right in the middle of the page. Right. First problem, they examine data from public schools in Boston and New York, not the entire country. Okay, that's already questionable. Second, right, they compare Black girls in this strange amalgamation with girls of color, right, and you know how they're subject to more discipline, right, subject to discipline that is harsher and more frequent. Now that's some vague shit. Harsher and more frequent. That can mean anything. That can mean that you have to eat your lunch in the classroom as opposed to cafeteria. And as long as white girls don't have to do that, it's harsher. You know what I mean? They're leaving this real generic, right? But then the crux of it is that they are 6 times more likely to be suspended than white girls. The racial disparities in punishment are greater for girls than for boys. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'll show you. Basically, what they mean is this. Right? This is what they mean. If you look at the left, you have boys, right? See at the bottom left, you have white boys, and right next to it, Black boys. So Black boys are suspended 3 times more than white boys, right? Then you look to the one on the right, and you see the white girl there, and of course, you see 6 silhouettes of Black girls. Black girls are suspended. Now, first of all, know that the only disciplinary measure is not suspension. That's not the only. But they're focusing on that. So, okay, we'll deal with that. So basically they're saying there's 6, for every 1 white girl who's suspended, there are 6 Black girls. And for every 1 white boy, there are 3 Black boys. And leaving it just at the surface of that, it looks like Black girls are disproportionately mistreated and everybody's just overlooking it. Right? This is what we're looking at. Now, then you have studies like this that complement that, right? Black students in Maryland were removed from school at more than twice the rate of their peers. Now, I'm showing you this because this is not coming out of the African American Policy Forum. It's not coming out of Crenshaw, but it's friendly to that because it's generic. See, in other words, this is what I talk about when I say flat Blackness, because there was a time period when we just looked at Black, 60s, 70s, most particularly late 60s, 70s. We talked about Black, and this would fly differently in the 70s than it does now. But at this point, after the rise of Black feminism, it takes on a different meaning. Blackness now means, since the rise of feminism, that we only pay attention to gender when it applies to women and girls. And when we don't look at gender, in other words, what that is the use of Black males' data to push an argument that doesn't specify what Black boys and men go through. So this generic piece about Black students doesn't tell you which group is punished to the greater degree. Now, normally, it wouldn't matter if we were just operating under a paradigm of Blackness, but it takes on different meaning during an era of Black feminism. Kwame, appreciate the Cash App. Thank you. It takes on a different tone, different meaning in the era of Black feminism. Because again, now that you disaggregate the data for gender, but only as it pertains to girls, the boys and the men kind of just get pushed to the side, even when their numbers are worse. So I just wanted to show you that in relation to the Crenshaw-inspired kind of piece that cherry picks certain type of information, right? And then the kind of generic argument here, you can see the kind of connection. Now, I push for a different kind of information. Now, this is just Ohio. We'll go national in a second. This is just one chart in Ohio, but it does kind of explain something that we're really seeing, right? Out of school suspensions and expulsions per 100 students enrolled. Now, we're talking not just about suspensions, we're also talking about expulsions. That's important. Remember I said earlier, there are more than just one kind of discipline, right? But the other thing is that it's per 100. Now, if you were going to talk about, the white population, of course, it's going to be much larger. That's why they're framing this per 100, so you can actually see for a smaller population whether or not the rates are higher or lower than when it comes to white boys and girls. And the purple line at the very top are black boys. The yellow line beneath it, at almost half the levels of black boys, are black girls. Below that, white boys and white girls. Now, this is the same thing you'll see when you look at life expectancy, right? White girls have the highest. Well, that's actually a little different. White girls have the highest than black girls and white.
Now, I'm gonna say, now this is interesting, and these are just kids we talking about, y'all. These are just kids. But even as we discuss children, the boys got to deal with more punishment than the girls got to deal with. Now, we live in a country where women are continue pushing this thing about, well, y'all got more rights than we do. The boys are getting suspended the most and getting expelled the most. So if they get caught doing something wrong, they getting punished. If the girls get caught doing something wrong, they get punished. Now, if you say, are they getting punished the same way? No, because the numbers won't tell you that. So now if I got to guesstimate who gets away with the most stuff, I'm probably going to guesstimate the girls do. So the girls can do stuff wrong and get away with it. Because if the girls got punished the way the boys got punished, wouldn't the charts kind of equal out a little bit? Because kids do wrong in general. Okay? Boys are not worse than girls. No, but we do live in a society where girls get a bigger break than boys get. And if you look at some stuff that's going to stick out, when you start looking at colors, then the disparity gets a little bit bigger. So the children are dealing with stuff. So where does the boys getting away with the stuff that the women, the women can't get away with it, but the boys can? But to me, some basic math would tell me if the boys can get away with the stuff that the girls cannot get away with, the boys are going to be punished more than the girls. The girls are going to be punished more than the boys because the boys are allowed to get away with it more. It's not more boys than girls. When people are born, it's about even. About the same amount of boys are born that girls are, as far as girls are born. It's close. It's very close. So you really shouldn't see too much of a disparity going on. Somebody's just simply able to get away with stuff more than the other group can. Now, I'm going to have to respectfully say the group that gets punished the less is the group that gets to get away with stuff more. And it shows already with children. Now, as we become adults, the same thing is happening. Okay? When you look at people getting arrested, men get arrested more than women do. How do men got more rights than women when we get arrested more than they do? So what are we able to get away with? How come the numbers don't show us being punished less because of this quote unquote privilege we're supposed to have? Now, when you start talking about black men, especially, it really go crazy. Now, as a black man, if I get caught for doing the same crime as anybody else, I understand that I'm going to get punished more severely than anybody else. Now, am I tripping about it? No, I'm not tripping about it. Not for real. Why? Because I understand it's a crime. I wasn't supposed to be doing it in the first place. I got caught. It's up to me to accept the responsibility of the fact that I got caught. If I get caught, I live in a society that knows I know I will be punished worse than somebody else. That's not fair. But that's a bad thing happening to me as a man. But we live in a society where the women are able to push, y'all have rights that we don't have as women. And guys are scared to ask women, what are those rights? Why are we afraid at this point, y'all? truth be told, is America an equal society? People would say yes. And then you got some people that would say no. Now, the people who usually say no, their argument is that men have advantages that women do not. Now, I'm going to say, let's look at the reality of what's going on in our society. America is a pro-woman leading country. It is a pro-woman leaning country. Now, people can say, wait, what? Don't y'all got equal rights? No, we don't have equal rights. The truth is, we do not have equal rights because women have something called reproductive rights that men do not have. Now, I'm gonna be fair and recognize the fact that women only have reproductive rights and men do not, and that is the only rights that they have that we don't have as men. See, I'm gonna be fair about it, but I'm gonna be truthful about it. I have yet to know or understand any rights that women have more than men have. Okay? Outside of what we consider reproductive rights. I don't know what those rights are. And that's just the truth. Now, I don't have to make up stuff to make myself feel good or try to get an advantage over somebody else. I'm not going to sit around making up stuff. But women do this on a regular basis because they are steady trying to convince men that we somehow have rights that they don't have. When if you just simply look at what the rights are of people in this country, we don't. Except they do have some rights that we don't have. And they call them reproductive rights. Now, these rights are really about having abortions, okay, and things of that nature. That's really what the rights are about. All right. As a man, I cannot abort a child. A woman can abort a child. If I abort a child, it can be considered murder. If I do something to a woman and she happen to be pregnant and she loses that baby, I can be charged with murder. It's that simple at the end of the day. Now, if she elects to end that child's life, you know, as long as she goes about it the right way, they just call that abortion. Okay? So she has a couple rules she got to follow. She ain't supposed to just do it on her own. You know, she ain't supposed to just do it on her own. She ain't supposed to just self do it and then throw the baby in the trash. She ain't supposed to do that. But if she goes somewhere, you know, to a proper professional place, get a quote unquote surgery done, I guess that would be considered a surgery. Okay, a procedure. It's nothing illegal about it. I can't do that. I'm a man, and I get it. The first thing people gonna say, well, Roger, we men, we don't carry the children. The women carry the children. You know what? You're right. So you know what? I understand that that's a right I don't have because I don't have the ability to carry that out. I don't have the ability to carry a child. I accept that life is not always fair. But I try to be reasonable. Okay, I try to be reasonable. Now, can we set things up to make things more fair than that? We could. It's just as a society, we're not ready for it yet. We're not ready to do things like that. Okay, and we're not ready for a man to be able to say, well, let's terminate the pregnancy, and then it has to be carried out. And I understand why, because women can lean on the fact that it's their body, therefore it should be their choice, and their creator gave them a position to make a decision that men cannot make. So I do get it. And I don't even trip about it. I get it. I don't trip about it. All right. If you've watched me long enough, you've heard me say on a regular basis, when it comes to women ending or terminating a pregnancy, that's really a woman's issue. It's not really a man's issue because we can't get pregnant and we can't terminate them. So it's not even our issue. And that's just real talk. The stuff around it is our issues. But we can't terminate a pregnancy and we can't get pregnant. It is what it is, you know? So we kind of got to roll with what the women do. So I got to roll with what they say, which means they have a right that I don't have access to. So why do we allow women to push a narrative that men have more rights than women have? And this is important because, as I've told y'all time and time again, your subconscious rules you. So why is this important? Because you operate as if women have less rights than you. Every time women are trying to get something done, and you're sacrificing certain things, especially for women you don't even know, you are moving with the thought process, and it's in your subconscious, this is why you're doing it, that they got less rights than you. Or you are buying into some quote unquote privilege that they have that you don't have. Now, as black men, one thing I think black men really need to do with a woman, and it just depends on the conversation you're having with the woman. Black women will assert that you are oppressing them as a black man. They will also assert that black men have no power. When are we as black men going to make women choose? Now, I can address either side of the argument. I ain't going to trip about which side of the argument come up, whether it's you men lack power or we oppressing them. But what I'm not going to let you do is tell me both of them happening at the same time. You can't sit here and insist that I have no power because I'm a black man, and then saying because I have no power, I'm oppressing women. Now, let's be realistic. This is something black women push on a regular basis. And they come up with cockamamie reasons for you to buy into it. And black men, y'all do buy into this stuff. I'm saying y'all. This means the people who actually fit that narrative. It's not me saying every black man. I'm saying you all that buy into this. I'm talking to you all specifically. You buy into these silly narratives because in your subconscious, you believe women got less rights than you as a man, even though you can't identify them. And you believe women have privileges. You believe that men have privileges that women don't have. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, realistically, if you actually understood the difference between the right and the privilege, ain't no point in talking about privilege. Because a privilege is something given to you by a person who has a right. I have a right to drive my car. You don't. You got a right to drive your car. I don't. So now I can be more privileged than somebody else. Let's say me and somebody else know a guy. That guy got 30 cars. That person can give me the privilege to drive 25 of them. We might be real good friends. And he say to me, look, man, you can take any car you want whenever you want. Why? Because I'm balling. I got it like that. Okay. I'm balling. All right. I ain't mad at the man for balling. He got a right to ball. If he was able to create a situation where he could ball, more power to him. He got the right to ball. I just happen to know him. I'm real good friends. Okay. I'm just really, really good friends with a person who happened to be balling his behind off. And he say, because, man, we like family. You like a brother to me. You can take any one of these vehicles, but to see these 5 over here, these just for me. Okay, you can't just roll out in the Bentley, bro. You can't do that one. Okay, this Rolls Royce over here, nah, this one ain't for you, bro. This one ain't for you. This G-Wagon right here, look, man, this G-Wagon is specifically for when I got family around and I'm driving people around and all that type of stuff. I mean, it don't make no difference what the cars are and what rules he come up with. He say these 5 are just for him. But he say, you know what, you can the other 25, you can take any one of them anytime you want. Now he could have another friend. And that other friend, look, man, if you need a car for real, okay, if you're in a stress situation where you need a car, you can come get this one right here. You can come get this Chevy. Okay, see this Chevy Malibu, this is what you can drive. Now, in reality, the man who owns the 30 cars is giving out privilege to two different individuals. He told one person, if you really need a car, you can drive this Chevy Malibu. That's a privilege. He told me, because we such good friends, and he trusts me the way he do, that I can take 25 of his 30. That's privilege. I ain't got a right to drive any of his cars. He just gave me the privilege to drive 25 of the ones I want. But he told me I can't drive these other 5. He got 5 over here I can't touch. He don't even want me looking at them. So why would I trip? See, I've said it before, y'all. I don't trip about white privilege. Why? Because I know that's you giving privilege to a white person. A person don't get white privilege unless you give it to them. You know, white folks walk around, they get white privilege. They get privilege from their people because they white. And then a lot of folks give people privilege. And I'm talking about non-black people. But I understand it because you grew up in America and you've been taught white supremacy since the day you was born. And sometimes a lot of black folks, because they're still dealing with their white supremacy, they ain't got rid of it themselves, you going to give some white person privilege. Now, what am I supposed to do if you giving a white person a privilege that you're not giving me? I can complain about it, but it's not my right. If you let some white person drive your car, but you won't let me drive your car, I can be salty, but ain't nothing I can do about it because I'm not in position to do anything about it. It's your car. If you let some white folks live in your house rent-free, and you won't let me live in your house rent-free, I can be salty about it if I want to. Now, I'm not that type of person, but I could be salty about it. But ain't nothing I can do about it. Okay? Let's think about this from a box perspective. Black women have a right to their box. They will let white men smash. The white man can play with their box. White man ain't got to do nothing for them. Now, if I want to play in their box, they going to tell me, well, because you a nigga, you know, I'm not going to even be looked at as a man to some of them. Because you a nigga, you got to do X, Y, and Z just to even smell the box. Not play in it. You got to do X, Y, and Z just to smell it. Now, truth be told, that's a privilege. I'm not tripping about it because I don't have a right to her box. It's her box. Now, if I was that type of dude, I could be salty about it, which would be silly because then I would be a black man salty about what a white man could get. And that just don't even make sense. It don't make, and I'm saying it that way because if you salty about what a white man can do that you can't, as a black man, you need to check yourself. Real talk. Okay? It's her box. She can give it out as much as she wants to whoever she wants. That is a reality I have to deal with. Okay? In order to maneuver the world in the proper way, I have to accept she can do with her box what she wants to do with her box. It ain't on me. It's on her. Now, I can react how I want because of what she did with her box, as long as I don't infringe upon somebody else's rights. So at the end of the day, we look at women in this position as if they're suffering from something. Now, I'm not going to say women didn't deal with something in the past. Okay, I'm not saying that. But in today's time, why do I need to excuse myself for women? If I'm riding the train and ain't no seats available, why I got to get up for a woman? Okay, why I got to get up for a woman? I paid the same fare she paid to ride the train. Okay? And when I say train, I'm talking about L for some folk. I'm talking about subway for some folk. Whatever your perception is of riding the train. You pay the ticket to ride the train, right? I don't know what the train ticket prices are, but okay, let's say it's $2 for a train ride. I got to pay the same $2 she got to pay. Now, as a man, I could get on the train. I could see some seats available, grab me a seat. Train may get crowded. Maybe I was got on in one of the first stops, maybe first, second, or third stop. But as we go, train gets crowded, gets packed with people. As a man, I can get up for a woman to sit in my seat. I can give her the privilege of taking the seat. Now, this is a shared seat. See, I understand what my rights are. This is a shared seat. This seat is shared to the public. So no one has more access to that seat than I do as a paying customer. I can sit in that seat and be cool with it. Now, if a woman gets on and I want to get up for her, I can do that if I want to. I ain't got to get up. But if I want to, I can. Now I'm going to get real. And you know, if some women is holding on this far, let me say something that you might not like too much. If I see a woman as pretty, if I see her as gorgeous, if I see her as fine, and I get up just because she looked that good. Now, I ain't get up for you because you was too ugly, okay? Okay? I ain't get up for you. You too ugly. I ain't getting up. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Okay, I'm tired. Matter of fact, I ain't even have to do something serious. We ain't gonna even say I'm tired from work. I was hooping, okay? I was just out having fun, but I'm tired, okay? I literally was having fun all day. I ain't do nothing but go hoop. I've been having fun all day long, but I'm tired when I get on this train. And you know what? I get on early enough. There's plenty of seats available. But now it's this train crowded. And you a woman. And you sitting there looking at me. And you give me that look. Like you ain't gonna get up for a woman. And I look back at you like, yeah, I saw you. I saw you. I get what you saying. And guess what? You know, ain't no words being exchanged, but we get what each other saying. You looking at me saying you need to get up because I'm a woman. And I'm looking at you and say, I don't care that you're a woman. I paid the same $2 you paid. Yo, okay? That's what happened to me. I paid the same $2 you paid. So guess what? I ain't giving you this seat. I'm tired. I've been hooping all day. Yeah, I ain't did nothing productive. Nothing. And guess what? We could go down a few more stops. 3 stops down, a woman gets on the train. But this woman fine. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, hey, pretty lady, you fine. You don't need to be standing up for this ride. Why don't you come sit on down? Why don't you come sit on down? Now, I know some of the guys is thinking, man, Roger, why would you do that? Some folks is like, oh, man, you being a simp. Man, it don't make no difference. The point is what I can and can't do. That's the point. What I can and can't do. And if I say, look at her and she bad, and I say, you know what, lady, you can have my seat because you just look that good. I can do that. It is what it is. I can do that. And guess what? You as a woman, because you so ugly, I wouldn't give my seat to you. That's your problem. I ain't tell you to be that ugly. Okay? Now, you can look at me and say, man, you gave your seat to her. But I done rode the train. We've been on 6 stops together, and you didn't give your seat to me. I'm a woman. You know what? You are a woman, but you just kind of ugly. Or you too ugly to get my seat. You don't even have to be ugly. You was just too ugly to get my seat. That's all. If you was fine, you'd have got my seat. How do you know? She fine and she got it. Now, women don't like stuff like that. Okay? And when you put stuff in their face like that, they do not like it. A lot of times they have very bad reactions. But what else are we talking about? You a woman that lives in an American society, and everything in this society pretty much leans toward, well, I ain't gonna say everything because there are some things that are still same gender stuff. Like, me making the example of the basketball game where the men are playing the women. We know that's just a ridiculous concept because we separate leagues based off genders. But outside of stuff like that, pretty much things kind of lean toward the women in this country. Now, some of folks are upset that Trump done did some things. He done got that pen and started making some executive orders where there were some things that women were more advantaged for, and he started eliminating some of that stuff, and people got mad at it. Let's be real about it. People got mad. Now, I didn't get mad. Why? Because I don't think anybody's supposed to have this advantage over anybody else if we're talking about living in an equal society. If you're gonna take the stance that we're supposed to be equals, then why should you get something that I shouldn't get? The Constitution did, which is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution, the supreme law of the land, it made room for general welfare. It did not make room for specific welfare. But I look at women, and I see them getting stuff that don't make sense to me. Do y'all know if you're a woman, you can have a child, and this American society will give you money because you had a child? This American society will give you a place to live because you had a child? This American society will give you medical help because you have a child? I'm talking about they'll give you all types of benefits because you had a kid. Now, they'll do that for you if you're a woman. Now, let's keep it real. As a man, if you have a child, they ain't giving none of that to you. You owe. It is what it is. You owe. Now, people can say, well, they got to treat everybody at the hospital. Well, if you can make it into the hospital, they'll treat you. But they're going to slap that bill on you at the end of it. If you a dude, they'll treat you if you can make it in there. But you're going to get that bill. Now, if you're a woman, you done had a baby. For some reason, they give them something, they say, a Medicaid. And then, you know what? Government start paying for stuff. I don't get it. Your kid healthcare gonna be taken care of. It's gonna go through Medicaid, no big deal. And guess what, y'all? When that woman takes her kids in there to get treated, once they figure out who you are, they send bills to you. I was amazed when I first heard about that. You telling me these women, all this time been on the system and all this type of stuff. Once they figure out who the daddy is, they start sending bills to the daddy because the stuff a woman was getting off the system. So a woman go to the system, get stuff because she had a kid, and then they gonna bill the guy once they find out who the guy. Ain't make no sense to me. Ain't making no, because we supposed to be equal. Ain't she supposed to be able to get a job and do what she got to do? Now, again, women I looked at this, where they're looked at as this quote unquote minority. They're supposed to have like less power or something like that. Now, women outnumber me. I'm a dude. As a guy, just more women than us. It is what it is. Okay? Different reason for it, but they have an advantage. All right? They have an advantage. It is what it is. I don't trip about it, but they do. Now, let's think about this also. The women argue about these outcomes. And just like I brought up yesterday, you had women talking about they want to be CEOs. Okay. But they wasn't talking about building no company. They were implying a man should be put out of his job so some woman can be a CEO. When if women want to be CEOs, they can just build companies. And some people gonna say, well, Roger, that's extreme. Why they gotta build a company? Do you know how much work it's gonna take for you to build a company and to be able to compete against people who got companies established that make hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars in a year? You know what? Let me be real with you. We have an idea of it, but until you have a company that makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, you don't technically know. You can say we don't technically know. If you ain't built it like that, you don't technically know. You have an idea of what it takes. But don't nobody care about me when I got to do it. They just say, man, look, you live in America, compete. Wait a minute. I'm a dude, man. You just argue somebody should be put out of a CEO job so some woman can be a CEO. Why can't somebody get put out of a job for me? If a CEO can get put out of a job because she's a woman, why can't they put another CEO out of a job for me? I'm a man. Well, men have CEO jobs. Okay, well, in the past, we did go through some unfair stuff as a country. Some stuff has been taken care of, some stuff is not. So now, if I want to be CEO of a quote-unquote Fortune 500 company, if I want to be CEO of a Fortune 100 company, if I want to be CEO of a Fortune 50 company, it take a lot of work and dedication to get into those spots. Ain't nobody finna just get out my way because I want that chair. Now, if we live in a fair society, why should somebody get out the way because a woman want that chair? Shouldn't she just have to earn it? That would make sense to me, that she would just have to earn it. Now, she can earn it by trying to work her way up through the ranks. That's one way to earn it. Or you can earn it by building your own company, and you just simply build better companies than other people. You earn more money than other people did, and your company just leapfrogs in front of other companies that already existed. But see, you have the right to do that already. Women talk about being CEOs if they don't have the right to build a company up and be better than the other companies that already exist. They have that right. You want to know how I know they got that right? Because this society looks at me as a nigga. And that's what they tell me to do. Nigga, if you want to compete, go get it. That's what they're going to tell me. Ain't nobody moving over for you, nigga. Now, they may not verbally say nigga. You got to hear with your third ear, okay? I know a lot of folks talk about their third eye, but you don't listen. You don't pick up stuff with your third ear. That's what they tell me. Nigga, go get it because we ain't giving it to you. Well, if we want a fair society, shouldn't they be telling that to everybody, including women who outnumber men in a society where things lean toward women's favor? Very interested to me. But I'm going to chill right here because we got Inspired Truth Broadcasting and came up, so I'm going to go ahead and give him the mic. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Am I coming in clear?
You coming in clear. And I guess it's a dangerous one because you're the only person that showed up in all this time. So I guess it's a dangerous subject matter.
Oh, don't tell me you scared everybody off with this one.
It's okay, though, because I got it. If they ain't going to do nothing with it, I'm going to do something with it. So it's okay. But go ahead, my brother.
All right. Let me see if I can try to land this. Oh, and by the way, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I see y'all there. Come on up and join me. Don't let me sit here hanging alone. But anyhow, let me get to it. So the way that, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, and you probably have noticed this, that it seems like the burden of evidence always becomes higher when we're talking about anything male-centric or anything male-centered. When we're talking about what females should be getting, what women should be getting, and even if it's a guy that's talking about what women should be getting or whatever they're up against, it's always it's often a let it rock type of thing. It's okay, yeah, they just said the thing. When we say the thing and we start talking about what's going on, then it's okay, cite your sources. What are your sources? Okay, what are your error bars? Oh, how many standard deviations? Did you happen to have a stratified randomized sample, or did you not have a stratified randomized sample? There's all of this critique of whatever evidence we come to the table with, but it's often not the same on the other side. And I think a lot of that stems and comes back down to us having to deal with objective reality and then maybe some other people dealing in subjective reality. A good example was put up there when Compassionate and Callous put up that clip. I saw another video too that with Dr. T where he was debating somebody, but I think that's really a lead in to where some of that came from. But you had something that had the veneer of credibility because they went and they took some data, but they took the data based off of what you were mentioning before, some subjective feelings like, oh, well, we feel like these girls were treated unfairly or mistreated, blah, 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 a subjective thing. But then they took data from it, and now that ends up becoming something that looks credible, but it's based off of something subjective rather than something that's objective, like, okay, how many school suspensions, how many expulsions, was that boys or was that girls? Like, that's what we're dealing with. What we're dealing with is like a fundamental disagreement about the nature of reality. And I guess that might be my 2 minutes there.
Well, it wasn't 2 minutes, but we'll take it as 2 minutes. Yeah. And I'm going to say you make some very good points, because when it comes down to it, you know, we move in a way as if a thing is true that's just not true. Now, I want to say shout out to the Great Black Reset. He said, Roger called us scared. Don't worry, we coming. No. Y'all not scared. I just be playing around sometime. I just be playing around sometime. Y'all ain't scared. I got it. Okay. I don't want no. Hey, if you're scared, I don't want you coming up. Okay. I got this. Okay, so don't let me put it out here like I need you to do this. No, I got this, player. I got this. It's okay to be afraid sometimes. Look, y'all, I have learned to reject fear, but I do understand it is okay for a human to be fearful sometimes. I just accept that fear ain't gonna profit me, so I just don't use it anymore. It's just something I get over with. You know, I ain't saying something can't happen and I can be afraid for a moment, but I start thinking and I be like, this fear ain't finna help me. Let me put it to the side. I'm just not gonna let the fear win. It's okay to be afraid sometimes, though. I get it. And when it comes to this particular subject, a lot of us, not Great Black Reset, anybody else, you know, okay, I just be messing around sometimes, but as men, we are afraid of women because we let this narrative run about how they are disadvantaged literally in a country that is geared toward them winning. As a woman in America, you should win. You have all these different advantages. Okay? Mm-hmm. If I can't take care of my child as a man, I lose, you know what I'm saying? I will lose my freedom and probably lose a license. You know, what's going on? I hear brothers going to jail, brothers losing licenses, which makes it difficult for you to even stay employed. And what if you got a job that now you gotta drive on your job? You lose your license, now you can't even earn your money. This type of world we live in, it's geared toward women. But if a woman has a baby, they're giving her an apartment. You know, she ain't got to go to jail. She gonna get 3 hots in the cots, except she gets to go to a place that she picks out. She gets to go to the grocery store and buy food she want to eat. Now the government will give me 3 hots in the cots, but it's gonna be in somebody's jail. I can't pick the menu. You know, it's harsh on me. But for her, no, piece of cake.
You know what this reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like a while back when they had that whole big push, I guess in like the early 2000s, to try to frame reverse racism as if that was the only real version of racism that exists anymore. You know, that I like, kind of like this ties into one of my favorite Rogerisms, which is presentation versus information. And that's a bit of what we're seeing here. Is we're seeing the presentation of oppression when it's not actually oppression.
And you know what? I've actually gone through the trouble of asking many a woman, what do they mean? Because they say they're being oppressed. You know what? I get some crazy answers, which I'm going to share with y'all in a second because Super Chat just came in. So let me tend to the Super Chat. Shout out to all my hoes demonetized. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate the Super Chat. He says, dang it, I leave the phone number on it. I already know where he's going. I ain't even read it yet, but I know where he's going. He say, dang it, I need the phone number to YouTube customer service so I can find out what is the cancellation fee for the Roger Report. Hashtag Roger did it. Well, you know what? I definitely can appreciate that, my brother. I definitely can appreciate that. And you know what? I wouldn't even be shocked if somebody called in because I got out here and started telling the truth. Yeah, I can totally get that. Today, somebody may call you to, it's a nigga out there telling the truth. Y'all need to stop him. This nigga out here making sense. I don't know where this nigga came from. I just don't want to see that nigga again. He out here making sense, okay? Shout out to the Great Black Reset. He say Roger is good with them words, y'all. I ain't never scared. In his bone crusher voice. Shout out to you, Great Black Reset. Nah, I am never gonna say y'all scared for real. I play around sometimes too, y'all. I joke around sometimes too. I ain't never saying people get scared. Now I know subject matters can be touchy, and then every subject matter ain't gonna pull a guest to want to come in and chime in, and I totally get that. So no, I respect people no matter what they do, y'all. And besides, I call myself putting the best show on social media. If I can't carry my own show, I can't say that. No, I carry my own. You know, I appreciate the people who come, but I carry my own. I got to. I can't be out here talking about I got the best show on social media and can't carry the show myself. It's always good. I appreciate everybody who chimes in, but when y'all don't, it's cool. I got it. Okay? It's cool. I got it. All right? But shout out to each and every guest that has ever come to the show. Shout out to each and every guest that has ever come to the show, even on all of the channels that have been lost. Shout out to every single person that ever been a guest. Okay, go ahead, Inspire. Go ahead, my brother. My bad.
Oh, I was just saying that last time around, like right before the last show, I kind of dropped that bit of insight on how we got here on that adding in women into affirmative action, and their justification being that they're a political minority. When I came across that, that was mind blowing to me. Like, because I was on the same thing, the same trend of like, okay, well, if women are the majority of people, how do we even get to them becoming a minority status? But then they use that as kind of like a bit of a cop out to end up doing that. And even with that, the next question becomes like, okay, so when do we stop that? Like, do we stop that when they become 50%? Do we end up stopping that once they're 50% of the registered voters? Like, where does that actually stop it? Like what does that actually mean? There should be a sunset to that or something.
You know what? You bring up a good point, but I'm gonna address it after the super chat. Shout out to all my hosts of my time. One more again. He say refund the Great Black Reset. Hashtag care for president 2028. Now I gotta refund money, y'all. Ain't this about something? Okay, now I gotta refund money. All my hosts are monetized. First of all, you wanna call them customer service and get me kicked off. Now I gotta refund money. Hey, boy, I tell you, brother, he the greatest non-supporting supporter I ever had.
Hey, we have friends like that.
I'm saying. But to your point and the question that you proposed, yeah, when are we supposed to stop? Because if women are a political minority, what are we supposed to get them to? Now I'm gonna say we're not supposed to start. If you make it where women can be and have political power the same way men can have political power, you're not supposed to do anything to even them up. No, it's the only thing that's supposed to happen is if we're gonna have a quote unquote fair society, they're supposed to get an opportunity to take political office, which they have. Now, if they're too lazy to become half of the political representatives that are out there, because what you're really referring to are the people who represent different parties, different groups of people, different citizens. Right. If they're too lazy to have a political position, or if they are disinterested in having a political position, why am I supposed to concern myself with that? That's not fair. Fair is up for grabs. That's fair. Fair is everybody can run for it. Fair is giving everybody equal footing to run for the spot. Now, if the women don't want to run for it, well, I got to do something to make them have a position that they don't want to earn.
I guess you have to make them run. Now you have to actually do real oppression.
No. My thing is something I shouldn't concern myself with. See, when you real about life, everybody can take on different tasks. You got to take on the tasks that you're comfortable taking on so you can help get the results toward the way you want them to be. Now, I'm a person that came to start doing media because that was the task I thought was a good thing for me to take on. Now, I can't be mad at the person who went into politics because I didn't go into politics. So I'm be mad at you for going into politics. If I can do it and you can do it, the seat up for grabs. So why as a man would I concern myself with trying to get a woman in a political position? The seat up for grabs. She can run for it just like any man can run for it. So why should I concern myself with that? No, the person who truly wants to see, a person who see themselves as good for that job, those should be the people running for it. And a lot of women may have come to the conclusion that they wouldn't be good in that position and they don't need to have it. And my thing is, that's the conclusion that they came to. That's not Roger's conclusion. It's the conclusion that they came to. Whatever it takes for them to get that seat ain't worth it. Now, if you decide it ain't worth the trouble, who am I to tell you it is?
I'm going to stir the pot a little bit too, because I'm going to expand this thing out because we see a sort of a similar thing when we deal with some of the athletic side of things. When we start talking about the WNBA and the pay for that, and then we start talking about the college football coaches for the women's versus the college football coaches for the men, and then we start looking at attendance and we see the attendance difference in it. And it's like, if you're not drawing eyeballs and you're not drawing people into the stands, then should that be equal? Should it not be equal? Now we got another discussion going on over with that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, people don't want to be real about the things that should be discussed. When you talk about equality, the only thing you can really do is give an equality of opportunity. There are too many variables to control the equality, the equality of an outcome. It's too many variables. You know what? I like hooping. Shaq like hooping. Okay. But Shaq's 7 feet. Shaq made millions upon millions of dollars hooping. I'm just not that valuable on the basketball court. It is what it is. Now, Shaq had the same rights I have to try to make it into the NBA. I can't get mad at Shaq because he could cut the mustard and I could. Now, technically I could, but what kind of man would I be if I get mad at him because he can cut the mustard and I can't cut the mustard? It is what it is. Some people just gonna be better than you at certain stuff. And when it comes to basketball, no matter what I think about myself, society has determined that Shaq is just a better ball player than me. It is what it is, okay? Now, can I beat him at something? Sure. You think I can't hit more free throws than Shaq can? You crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm extremely confident I can beat him in a free throw shooting contest. But when it comes to being effective on the basketball court, that man got some gifts that, like a lot of NBA players said, they can't do nothing with him. Realistically, I can't do nothing with him. The man just too big. He got it. He too strong. He too big. He got it. It is what it is. As a fair-minded man, why would I want to say I should be in the position that Shaq had when Shaq is clearly better than me when it comes to that position? It makes no sense. It just don't.
Yeah, that's a merit-based hierarchy then. That's, he does have the skill.
Well, my thing is he can get the job done. Because people even argue about his skills. Now, I know Shaq a skilled player, but people even argue that Shaq was just big and push people around. Hey, he got the job done. It is what it is. I'm proud of Shaq. Real talk. But my squad beat up on his squad, so I'm good with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shaq. We appreciate you. I thank you for giving Mike the drive to sweep y'all the next time he's seen y'all in the playoffs after he came back with that 17 game thing and kind of didn't have the greatest performance against the Orlando Magic. Man, you helped get that man the drive to go 72-10 and win a ring. Shout out to Shaq. Real talk. I love Shaq. But let me stop right here because I got my main man Tunnel Runner that came up. So let's see what Tunnel Runner got going on. You got the mic, my brother.
Am I coming through clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was inspired to call and tell you some truth on your broadcast.
That's what we want. We want all kinds of truth over here. You got it.
So now that women have the privilege to, ask a man to get married, ask a man to get a date, they have that privilege, but they don't want to take that privilege to find what they want to find.
Ooh. Go. I ain't gonna cut you off. My bad. I want to cut you off. Go ahead. Or if that's what you wanted to say. Did you land the plane? Turn around. Are you there? I don't know. Maybe they got him, y'all. Maybe they got him. Inspired Truth. Are you good? Or is it me? Yeah, they got him. Okay, he got knocked off, y'all. They got him. Shout out to Tunnel Runner, though. Shout out to Tunnel Runner. And I'm going to say it ain't just a privilege. They have a right. Women have a right to propose. They do actually have a right because their creator gave them the ability to go propose if that's what they want to do. Now, if they don't use that right, that's on them. Now, I'm not going to say women have to do that because I'm not going to encourage women to act like men the same way I don't encourage men to act like women. Yeah, let the man do the proposal. But you got to accept what comes with this. The privilege is being proposed to. That's a privilege because no one has to propose to you. Everyone has a right to propose, but no one has a right to be proposed to. Now, the thing is, some women going to get proposed to, some women not. It is what it is. And like I was saying earlier, I talked to women about these rights that men supposedly have that women don't got. Y'all know what I hear? I hear stuff like, well, as a woman, I can't go outside and just feel safe walking down the street because I could possibly be attacked. These are the type of answers I get when I talk to women about what they're talking about. So they're trying to articulate something to me to prove a point. And I want them to, because I want them to really give me what's wrong from a societal perspective as a man that I can help with. Okay, I can help, but I gotta be able to identify a problem in order for me to help properly. So they say, well, I could go outside, because I'm a woman, I don't feel safe. And I say, okay, I believe you. I ain't gonna even argue her premise. I believe you. You can go outside. You can go out at night and you don't quote unquote feel safe. Now I say, okay, well, let's look at the reality of the situation. You can go outside at night and you don't feel safe. I, as a man, like you said, can go outside at night and I feel safe. But we're talking about feelings. The right is both of us have the right to feel whatever we want to feel about the situation that we choose to be in. Because I didn't got to go outside at night, neither do you. Now, if it comes to actual safety, as a woman, it is far more likely for her to go outside in the street and come back home and nothing happened to her. That's what's more likely. As a man, even though I have the right to feel safe, it is far more likely for me to be the person that something happens to if I go outside, regardless of how safe I feel. I can feel safe. Now, I done said it before, y'all. Now I grew up in Chicago, y'all. I done got robbed 4 times. Twice by niggas, twice by police. I don't know no women who got robbed. And that's real talk. I don't know no women who got robbed. Okay. Now, when I got robbed by them niggas, well, one time I really couldn't fight because I was just in the wrong spot. I had no advantages. Okay. They got my shoes off me, y'all. They got my shoes. I still miss them shoes. Never wore them shoes once. But I had to accept, as a man, I was out here advertising the fact I had new shoes. I'm going through a neighborhood that I don't belong to. I gave myself every disadvantage, even though I knew better. That's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's my fault that they actually robbed me, but it is my fault that I tempted them to rob me.
Yeah.
I could have did something about that. But you know what I did? I felt safe. It got me robbed, but I felt safe.
Yeah, they can't do anything about how you feel.
So, women say stuff to me like, well, you as a man can feel. Yeah, I felt real safe when I got robbed. That's the straight up truth. I was feeling so safe. All the protocol that I should have taken on as a sensible human being, I disregarded all of it. Because that's how safe I felt. But I'm the person that got robbed. So what that means?
Check this out. Like women can actually feel like they can't get the man that they want, but women have the ability to get on Facebook, and they can feel like all guys are broke or whatever, but they have the ability to get on Facebook, look up a guy that's not broke, go and figure out who his mother is, and then friend request his mom. They have the ability to get the man that they want if they really want to.
You know what? They can do that. It is what it is. Like, ain't nobody really stopping them from doing it. That's real talk. You can go look up a guy. If he has a Facebook account and he got stuff on there and you can figure out who his mom is, you definitely can do all that. And that's just being for real. So, and the reason I say this stuff, y'all, because when I ask women about what they talking about, if they will answer me, they answer me in stuff about feelings. And the thing is, everybody can feel the way they want to feel about any particular thing. Okay? There's a comedian named Ali Sadiq. He talked about him doing time in prison. Not jail, not though you might be here overnight or for a week. No, he did time in prison. He said he got over his situation while he was in prison. Why? Because that was the best way for him to cope with what was going on. He got over it. Hey, I'm in prison. I'm going to deal with this. And I'm going to feel the way I want to feel while I'm here because I'm locked up. I can't get up and go nowhere. So I might as well have the best time I can while I'm in here. The man said he literally became a comedian while he was in prison. Now, if he can become a comedian while he's in prison, the least you could do as a woman is feel safe when you go outside at night. He's dealing with the real world reality that he got to do this prison time. He done got himself in trouble. He done got caught. He took the risk. He got caught. Now he paying the fine. The fine is so many of his years in prison. That's the fine he had to pay. But he became a comedian while he in there. Now, to me, that's just a man making good use of his circumstances. Everybody don't get to control their circumstances. The world gives you what it gives you. As a man, I've accepted that life is not fair. But what I refuse to accept is nonsense when I know better. I don't accept that women have less rights than men. Because when I start counting, women have a certain group of rights called reproductive rights that as a man, I don't have. Now, I understand why they have those rights. It's a my body, my choice issue. I get it. No matter how shady it is or how you feel some type of way about it, it's their body and they have the right to control their own body. And there's really nothing I can argue with to take away their right to control their own body. And because I respect that they have a right to control their own body, I got to take what that comes with. So now, if you get a woman pregnant and she terminates the pregnancy, well, people say, well, what about the rights of the child? Well, the child's creator did not give that child the ability to live without the host. So they don't get that as a right. You only get the right that your creator gave you. Whether you believe it's God, whether you believe it's your parents, or maybe you think it's a different God than the one I believe in. But the Constitution protected our rights to the ability our creator gave us. And if I'm real about that, I have to accept that a small child, a fetus that has not came out his mother's womb yet, that child cannot make it on his own. So if that mother wants to terminate that pregnancy, regardless of how I feel about it, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying what's real. It ain't for me to say nothing about for real because the fetus can't live on his own. Its creator has yet to give them the right to take care of themselves. So it is what it is. And I'm very consistent because I've done shows where I said children don't have rights. No, their parents have rights. You can't hit somebody's child because it's not your property. That child is the property of their parents. So they have to give you permission to hit their child. It's a privilege to be able to punish somebody else's child. Now, as a man, I got the right to give temporary custody if someone asks me to do so. So now if I can't punish your child, I ain't looking after your kid. That's my rule. If you need me to watch your kid for a while, I ain't got no problem with that if I know you. But understand this, when your child is under my guidance, my custody, I can do what I want. Now, y'all, I got a friend. Now, his kid's old enough where it don't need to be done at this point. But I got one friend who said he would have a problem with me hitting his kids. And you know what? Since he said that to me, and he that cool with me, I don't do that with him. I say, all right, if I got to watch your kids, I won't touch them. Why? Because I like him like that. We that cool that he said, hey, Raj, I know usually if you watching the kid, you take this thing on where you can discipline the kid the way you want to. And I said, you know what, you're right. But he said that would really bother me for real. But see, we know each other so much, I gave him the exception. Now, the thing is, I have a right to give him an exception. For everybody else who says something about it, no, I got a right to give him an exception. I'm not giving you the exception. I done known you just as long as he had, but it's my decision to make. Now, for everybody else, if you don't want me to discipline your child, if it come up, don't leave your kid with me. See, you a parent, you got rights. Do what you want with your kid. I ain't worried about it. But if you're going to leave your kid with me, this is what the rules are. I'm going to discipline the child as I see fit, as long as I have custody of the child. If that bothers you in any way, your kid can't stay over here. It's that simple. Works for me. Now, I, again, don't see nothing where women have this lack of rights that men have. Because I have watched women's children. I have watched men's children. It didn't make no difference to me. Go do what you got to do. Get it done. Come on back, get your kid. It's all good. But the same rules apply. And I just can't figure out in life where women have this lack of rights in any space that men do have rights. I don't know what it is. So I think a lot of people, maybe they still caught up in yesteryear, where they could be like, well, you know what, technically women didn't have this right way back in the, well, you got them now, so what you want me to do? Because you got them already. What you want me to do? I can't give you something you already got. But I'm going to slow down right here because the Great Black Reset done came up, y'all. I think he came up to prove that he wasn't scared when I was just joking, okay? But for some reason, he want to prove that he wasn't scared. But you know what? He got a right to try to prove that he wasn't scared. So I'm going to let him try to prove that he wasn't scared and give him the mic. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I was joking, brother. I really did not mean you were scared, but you want to prove that you're not. Go ahead, my brother.
Don't be giving me no rights these women ain't got. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. No, this is a very good conversation. It is a very common conversation with the ladies out there. I think they want to be perpetual victims in everything that they do, so that they have an excuse to fail. So when failure occurs, they can say, "You had something I didn't. or you were able to do something that I wasn't. This is the argument of failures, man. This is all this is, man. It's real simple. They're capable. They're capable as far as rights are concerned of doing everything we can do, and just like you just mentioned, they have reproductive rights that we don't. We can't separate ourselves from the responsibility of a child if they decide to bring the child into this world without our express permission or our consent. So they actually do have more rights than we do. And in this society in which we live in, things lean more toward them anyway. They have an easier time of flowing through life, at least before Trump showed up, than we did. So I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. This is very good topic. Definitely needs to be talked about. Definitely needs to be addressed by men and black men in general. That no, these women got just as many rights as we do. And anytime they mention this subject as an absolute, and call them a liar right to their face because they can't prove it. You're absolutely right.
Now, shout out to all my hoes demonetized. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate y'all. All my hoes demonetized says, and I've told y'all I ain't gonna be cursing on F. All right, and that thing I'm trying to make it where these young folk parents can let them listen to the show. But he said, "Sorry, Roger, I beats," and I'm gonna say behinds equally. F them kids. And all I'm gonna say is, I support your right to take that position, and that's real talk, okay? And if that's how you gonna handle it, then that's how you gonna handle it. And anybody who don't want you to really handle it that way, they probably just shouldn't leave your kids around. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. I know that's what I told my own blood relatives. You know, no, y'all let them kids with me. Don't you dare come bother me about how I'm watching the kids and you want me to watch them. You know. That's how I handle that. You know, I remember it was one of my cousins. They kid went upstairs and said I hit him. My cousin come down. Yeah, my child said you hit him. And you belong to the same family I do. You want me to watch these kids, right? Ain't y'all upstairs with the adults talking and doing y'all adult thing? Because I wasn't an adult at the time. Ain't y'all doing the adult thing and having an adult conversation? And y'all got the kids in the basement. And y'all got me watching the kids. Because I just happen to be the oldest child around at this particular point. Ain't that what's happening? Yeah, that's what's happening. Well, don't bother me about how I'm doing it. Now, it was my cousin, so somewhat of a peer, but my cousin was an adult and I wasn't an adult. But we come from the same family, so she knew exactly what I was talking about. You want me to watch these kids, right? Okay, then don't bother me about how I'm watching the kids. Go on upstairs and do the adult thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to wait till I'm an adult and I can get up there and do the adult thing with you. But right now, I can't because I'm still a kid too. But I'm watching y'all kids, so don't bother me about hitting your kids. You hit your kids.
Yeah, some of these kids so out of pocket, they'll hit you.
Well, it wasn't like they was doing really, really bad stuff. It was just, some light tapping and what. It ain't like I was taking off a belt whooping the kids. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You got to show the kids that you the boss, and kids test people. It is what it it is what it is. But we come from the same family. Whippings happen in this family. So as a person who is my cousin and you understand whippings happening, don't you come down here and try to tell me something about hitting kids. You know how this go. You've been through the gauntlet the same way I've been through the gauntlet. You know what time it is. Now you can go upstairs and do the adult thing if you want to, or you can take your kid and do whatever you got to do with your kid. It's your choice. You know what? She was like, "You right." Let me go back upstairs. And you know what? To the kids, she's like, "Hey, don't be bothering me no more. Okay? Do what he say so you don't get hit." That's what she said. I was like, "All right, go on ahead with your bad self. Go on, get upstairs and be an adult." Okay, I get my time when my time come, but I didn't take it no kind of way because I didn't even look at it as she could do something I couldn't do. She just was an adult and she could participate in things that I just couldn't participate in yet because I wasn't an adult yet. So even as a child, I have I'm gonna say a lot more sense about this type of stuff than a lot of grown women did because I understood I wasn't being shunned. I'm in the same family. It's just the adults were upstairs talking. And I got to be an adult to be in that conversation. My time came. I eventually became adult and I was able to have them conversations with them. So I wasn't even mad about it. So now my thing is, again, when I've discussed all these different things with women, they tell me stuff about feelings. And I tell everybody, you got the right to feel any way you want to about whatever you want to feel something about. Because you got a right not to care too. That's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with being oppressed. It ain't got nothing to do with rights. But shout out to Black Haru. He done came up, so I'm going to go ahead and let him get the mic. You got it, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, Roger. Thanks for having me. I hope you gentlemen on the panel and the folks in the public chat are doing well. You know, one of the most evil acts of witchcraft, you know, feminism is one of the most evil acts of witchcraft, maybe the most evil act of witchcraft that has ever been wielded. Because they basically took some alleged offenses. I'm emphasizing the word alleged. Alleged offenses that white men committed against white women to justify getting the women receiving unearned rights and privileges in excess of even the rights and privileges that their peer males enjoy. And they elicited the necessary aid of black women to effectuate that scheme. And they did it for what was proportionately sort of modern day butter biscuits given to black women, all for the betrayal of their own black men. It's a very evil kind of thing that has happened here. You know, at some point, might not be us, unfortunately, it might be some alien race, sort of like at the end of the movie AI, and this sort of alien superior race comes down and starts to try to observe what happened to human life 10,000 years ago or whatever. They start examining what led to the fall of this society. They're definitely going to find feminism at the crux of that fall, because it like I said, it's the worst example of witchcraft that's ever been perpetuated amongst human beings. This business of women being so unfairly entreated, and so we've got to give them all this extra stuff and these extra rights and these extra privileges and these extra advantages, not earning any of them at all, not fighting any wars, not building any skyscrapers or bridges, you know, not discovering anything or, you know, whatever, just because they're females and they supposedly have been predated upon, that we're going to give them more than we give the males. And we're not going to just give them more than we give the white males who supposedly have done all these terrible things. We're going to give them more than we give the black males. We're going to give them more than we give the Latino males. Are going to, you know, because they're males and they deserve to be taken from. And when you look back on all this stuff that has happened, particularly the last 60 years, especially, you know, you can make an argument for giving women suffrage, although even that is debatable in hindsight. But all the stuff that happened starting back in certainly starting officially with including females, white females within the 64 Civil Rights Act, it was a very evil thing that was done there, and it has just led to countless other evils ever since. And ironically, and this is how topsy-turvy, bizarre world we're in, the only recent anecdote to it has been Donald Trump. That's where we are. Where we are is where the only real antidote to the evil of feminism has been Donald Trump. Now, I guess I'll end my opening statement and rant there.
And that's a heck of a statement, especially that last part. And I'm gonna say shout out to all my hoes demonetized. He says, you know what, folks? I will follow suit with Roger. Here's one for the tip jar. Let's have a no cussing February, fellas. $5 for the cussing tip. Well, you know what? I'm gonna second that notion. I'm gonna second that motion. You know, I ain't gonna say $5. That's just that could come into a large sum. But if people want to take that on, I'm just going to encourage y'all. Again, I want adults to be able to share some of these shows with children and feel okay about it. I do want that to happen, you know, because I do think some of the stuff that we discuss, even though I know this is considered adult by the masses, a lot of this stuff kids need to hear before they become adults so they can be better prepared to deal with the adult world. And that's just real talk. So shout out to you all my hoes demonetized. I definitely appreciate that, my brother. I definitely appreciate it.
That's
And
a
I'm gonna
brilliant
say,
idea. $5 square jar February. That's you're gonna get some donations now.
well, I mean, I would go with something like $5 is a hefty. Some way, some of y'all people girl. If people want to participate in that, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take the money because I want the money. I'm just a message first guy. But yeah, I would like the money. Well, $5, that's even asking for a lot. Real talk. That's asking for a lot. So I'm cool with $1, but I'm happy for the suggestion. I'll just say that. Just for the month of February, y'all. 28. It's only 28 days in a year. So I'm gonna say consider that. Consider that. But I'm gonna say when Donald Trump did some of this stuff that he got pressed for, you know, and I'm not saying I follow every single thing Donald Trump did. I've let people know clearly I was not a Donald Trump supporter. Even when I was, very anti-Kamala, it didn't make me a Donald Trump supporter. But at the end of the day, people discuss, look at this that Donald Trump is doing. And I asked them, well, what Donald Trump did, ain't that just making it fair? If Donald Trump is getting rid of stuff that goes to an advantage party to remove someone's advantage, doesn't that make it fair? Now, this is a question a lot of people I asked wasn't really prepared for. And I ain't saying I know everything. I'm not even saying I understand everything. But if you talk about removing things that give one particular group an advantage over another particular group, to me, that sounds like somebody making something fair. How am I supposed to be mad at somebody making something fair for me?
Well,
it don't make sense.
Trump did something, and I think it was during the campaign, or it might have been at the beginning of his first term. It was either during his first campaign in 2016, or it might have been after he had been elected, where it was like a town hall, and I think it was about women or something like that, because I seem to recall the crowd being mostly female, or maybe even entirely female. And this one young white woman asked him, and I don't know if compassionate is listening, because I don't want to misquote what was said or misdescribe what was said, but she basically asked the question of, well, would a woman, if a woman, would a woman be able to compete, get a good job, or essentially do well, in a Trump world? Or again, I'm grossly misdescribing what happened. And Trump says something very briefly and politely, but it was a profound statement, and it seemed to. Now, I might question, frankly, the quality of some of his female appointments, because I question the quality of some of his female appointments. But he did say something to her very politely, very succinctly, very but profoundly. He said, "She will get it if she earns it. She will get it if she earns it." And that was kind of like a fundamental difference and shift in, because prior to that point, with Biden, certainly with well, that was before Biden was elected, I guess, but with 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 uh, Obama, 8 years of Obama, a lot of female ass kissing, dear colleague letter, Bureau of Women and Girls, uh, his wife, spewing feminism everywhere. I mean, hell, Obama basically lambasted black men on Father's Day during the campaign. Don't you guys remember that? You guys remember when Obama lambasted black fathers in a black church during his campaign? You guys
Mm-hmm.
remember that? So we were coming out of that environment, and you had a president who said, "Hey, I'm not giving any undue fair advantages to females just because they're females." And one of the things that Trump did that I wholeheartedly applauded during his first administration through his Secretary of Education, what's the name, DeVos or whatever, they undid that dreadful "Dear Colleague" letter that Obama had issued, that basically extorted the colleges and universities into creating essentially, uh, witch hunts of young black men. I mean, not young black men, but men, black men, because in most cases were disproportionately affected by the thing, where they basically could suspend and expel black males from schools because of questionable sexual encounters with girls. That was one of the best things that Trump did in his first administration, because that was the lead into a lot of stuff that had happened, a lot of unfair treatment of men started at those universities, started with those policies like that, where guys were being expelled. They didn't even get a chance to face the women who were accusing them. So, to his credit, whatever we might feel about him in a lot of other ways, Trump has been the only modern day antidote to the abuses of feminism, or the only truly effective antidote to feminism.
I'm gonna say,
due process, yeah.
yeah, and that's just being real. And a lot of people want me to be mad at somebody who trying to make stuff fair for me. And I just be like, do you understand what you're asking me to do? You want me to get mad at a person making something fair for me? You see, I'm a, like I've said plenty of times, I'm a fair-minded person. I just want an equal opportunity. Now, do I want to play in the NBA and have a long career and get paid millions of dollars, even though my contributions ain't what they used to be? Yeah, I do. But Shaq did that, and I didn't. My thing is, nobody kept me from trying out to be in the NBA. Now I understood I ain't got no business at it. I ain't never had no business in no NBA trial. Okay, so but nobody locked the door and said I couldn't come. And that's just real talk, y'all. I live in Chicago, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I've had a personal friend literally go out to trial for the NBA. Y'all know they do certain stuff in Chicago for people trying out to get into the NBA. They didn't lock us out. They allowed you to come if you really wanted to give it a go. You could do it. I got a personal friend of mine. It just so happened he broke his foot when he went for trials. It's a bad time to break your foot. So he never made it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a quote unquote nobody, who didn't have this fantastic college career, but they let him try. He just happened to break his foot. Horrible timing, but nobody kept him out. Now my thing is, am I supposed to look at the NBA like they're unfair to me because I'm not in it? No, they're fair. They'll let me try. It's up to me to prove I'm worthy to be in there. Now I ain't got no business trying out. Just realistic. I ain't got no business trying out for no NBA. But I've accepted that. But that's fair. It's not like they kept an opportunity for me from me. It's just I'm not good enough to really take advantage of that opportunity. That's my fault. Not blaming society that I wasn't good enough to take advantage of that opportunity. And my thing is, as men, we operate with women as if we are limiting them from opportunities. I don't know what opportunity a woman has been denied, I should say, has been denied that men have. I don't get it. You know? And Inspired Truth said something about women, the WNBA. The WNBA can make millions of dollars just like the NBA does. They can. They just don't. It ain't the NBA's fault. They have the games. People can go to the games. The games are on TV. People can watch. They can earn the money that the men make. They just don't. The market decided they don't want them to get the same kind of shine. But WNBA players, I heard about them going on strike, or at least talking about going on strike, until they get a quote unquote fair wages, even though they don't make any money. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. All right. And it's a real thing that happens in my life on a regular basis. If I can't help somebody make a profit, I don't get no money. It happens to me all the time. If I cannot help you, if I can't help somebody make a profit, I don't get no money. The WNBA believes because they are women, they can literally do something where they do not make a profit, but they should earn more money than what they already earn. Now, when you think about that, that's a privilege that women are allowed to exercise, and people take it seriously. Men don't do that. If we can't help you earn money, we understand we ain't got nothing coming. But women do a whole campaign to try to pull people in. And I haven't covered it as a story, but I've been seeing a lot about how the WNBA is doing this, and they threatened that they're gonna go to another league. Then the other league had a problem. I've been peeping stuff going on, but men don't do that. Why would we do that? Hey, give us more money, even though we can't put you in position to make a bigger profit. And not only that, they lose money the whole time. They're losing money every single year for an organization while demanding they get paid more money. Pay more to do what? Lose more money? And people say it's unfair. And that's why I don't understand why we as men operate as if women don't have a better position than we do in America. Things are linked toward women. I can get a job just like a woman can get a job. But I understand if a woman can do the same job I can do, sometimes she'll be hired because she's a pretty woman. I'm just not a pretty woman. I'm a man. It is what it is. That's an advantage she has that I don't. Even when I was talking yesterday about that Michelle Obama interview, when they say women have a problem because she has to worry about how she's going to dress in an outfit because some heterosexual man is attracted to women. Even use that as an example. Instead of hearing oppression, what I heard is she can put on the right dress and get the job, where I can't put on the right dress and get the job. I'm just a dude. Best I can do is show up in a suit. But I cannot make somebody attracted to me because I show up in a suit. I don't get that advantage. So I didn't hear it as a problem. I heard it as a benefit. Because she's a woman, she can. Yeah, I see what's going on in social media. Y'all know what I done figured out about social media? If you're a woman, they'll subscribe to you simply because you're a woman. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to watch your stuff because you're a woman. They will look at your stuff for a while and see if they're interested in the stuff you're doing. But there's a lot of women who get on social media and they get a gang of subscribers simply because they're women. I don't get that, but I don't trip about it either. So I don't really understand what I can do as a man that they can't do. I don't get it. But what I do get is we keep operating as if they had some kind of disadvantage when this country is set up for them to win. Shout out to you thought. He said, not people, Roger. Women say it's unfair. When you condition women, they can have something for nothing. This is what you get. And I'm gonna say, yeah, you thought I know the women do this, but let's keep it real. The men follow behind it too. Let's be realistic. The reason the women are still making these claims is because men support these claims. I've seen interviews. Now we didn't mention the WNBA. I done seen interviews where men would say, "Yeah, WNBA players should get more money," and that's because nobody thinks to count. And I understand, as a random person, you may not be informed about it. You don't understand that the WNBA been literally losing money for decades at this point. The WNBA is really it's a charity disguised as a business. Now I understand that's an insulting thing to say, but it is accurate. The WNBA is basically a charity disguised as a business. If you are good enough as a woman, you can access this charity that will pay you good money for playing basketball, even though you can't turn a profit. That's a charity disguised as a business. Now, am I mad at women because they have access to this particular charity? No, because somebody else has a business, they own the business, they can do what they want with their business. They have a right to own the business. It is what it is. So no, I don't get mad at it. I just understand what's going on. You know, now I'm going to say this. I am unaware of any men that can do a business and operate for 30 years and not truly turn a profit. Now, I do understand there's accounting things where you can always show that you didn't earn the income, because that's one of the strategies of Amazon. We gonna do these things financially so we can show that we don't turn a profit. I believe that's Amazon who do that. I think Uber does it as well. They do that. We ain't never turned to profit, but we know they are actually bringing in income. They're doing things with the income. They just report they don't turn no profit, but we know they making money. You know, we know they're making money. So men can't go out and operate for 30 years and truly earn nothing, and people just keep paying them. I don't know any business where that actually happens. Now, I'm saying something. I'm not including financial finagling based on things you can get away with, because Amazon don't earn money on paper, but that's a big profitable company that don't earn money reportedly. But we know they earning money. You know, it is what it is. But where can you lose money for 30 plus years straight and stay in business? What men got a company that's like that? That you're literally losing money 30 plus years, but you get to stay in business. That's not America. I don't know if that's anywhere in the world, but I know that's not America. So as men, why are we operating like women are disadvantaged? You know, and again, yeah, you thought, was that yeah you thought who said that? Whoever said it was women. Nah, yeah, it was yeah you thought that said that. Brother, I understand where you're coming from, but we got to be realistic. We as men collectively support this nonsense. We support that women are disadvantaged even though we can't find it. If you look for where they are disadvantaged, you literally can't find it. But we act like they're disadvantaged. That's why they keep bringing up these arguments, and these arguments have worked for years. Women do what they can get away
Well,
with.
especially now, there are so many laws. There's so many court decisions, regulations. Um, all these things at both the federal and the state level, um, as well as they've all been incorporated into corporate policies, government entities. There's so many things that harshly punish you for any sort of obvious, very overt forms of uh, of misogynist behavior in so many different places: schools, government, business, not-for-profit. Court decisions tend to be very favorable towards females. Punishment of crime tends to be much more favored or leaning towards female. There's really almost no any real evidence of any sort of institutional bias against females in American society right now. It just really isn't. And when you look at a lot of the statistical information, particularly regarding younger females with respect to employment, with respect to pay, with respect to education, a lot of it's very pro female. A lot of it is women are in better situated than their peer level males.
Yeah, here's the insidious thing about it all. It's like some of these results end up becoming something that ends up used against men later on, like say with the justice system, the way that some of the things that we're actually convicted of end up being a higher level thing. They'll end up being an actual felony. The same thing for a woman will be a misdemeanor, and then they'll end up getting pointed to say, oh, hey, men are more prone to this or more prone to that. And a similar thing for the laws. Like if the laws are unjust in favor of the women, well, hey, that's the law, so it must be right. You know, it's the whole kind of veneer of righteousness after pushing something forward that isn't righteous.
Yeah, and there's a whole thing where, you know, I mean, I don't believe there's anywhere in this country where you know, you got stuff that, unless you're talking about a separation between genders, because there's some stuff that I agree with should be separated. I don't think it'd be cool for men to have to compete against women, not because I'm concerned with men ain't gonna win. My thing is I want women to have a chance to win too. So if you put all the track athletes together, how women gonna get gold medals on a regular basis? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say a woman couldn't win a random race here or there. But if you're talking about track athletes, you're talking about people who training for it. So how could women win any medals in track if they got to compete against men? Because the men are training for this thing. It's not just random people. And here you race this random person, and this person races this random. No. These are people who train for it. How can a woman ever get a medal? So no, I'm cool with separation of certain things. Not because I think women ain't worthy. I want them to have a chance to actually win something. You know, if I had a daughter, I would like my daughter to feel victory at some point. Now, how is she gonna win if she always got to go against males? But if you really want to talk about equality, if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts, no, all of them should just run together. And if women can't ever win, they just can't ever win. It is what it is.
Worse than that, boxing, Olympic boxing or something.
Yeah, and you can say this for any sport. You know, if we want to just really, you know, go all the way with it, I'm fine with a separation of people so women can have a chance of victory. I have no problem with that. And yes, I'm saying it so women can have a chance at victory.
You know, sometimes I think, and this is just me kind of thinking out loud, speedball, and please feel free to tell me where my thinking is in error. Sometimes I think the women should be allowed to compete against the men and have their brains beaten in. You know, sometimes I think we need to see an NBA team beat a WNBA team by like 150 points. I think because the level of delusion is so strong amongst so many women right now, sometimes I think if some woman is fool enough to get in an MMA ring with a man, get your ass on up in there. See
So
how you can
y'all
do
ain't y'all ain't gonna stop Uru. Y'all just gonna let him keep on
No,
going.
no, Uru's
This is
right.
what y'all
Uru's
doing.
actually
This,
right. Like there's
this
I'm
what.
just saying, I think for so long there has been delusion. And like, the whole, Black Widow throwing around guys at three times her size kind of thing. There's been so much delusion that has been perpetrated over the generations that sometimes I think you almost need to see the disparity in its real raw form to just kind of recreate or to reacquaint reality into things.
Uru's actually right. I mean, I've seen people, heard women like little 90-pound women, like, yeah, we could be firemen and we could go in and these burning buildings and pull these people out. No, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
This is.
I
This
want to
is
say this, Great Black Reset. Before you say what
okay.
you gonna say, I want to say this. To be fair to us, Black Rule basically said, "Stop me if I start talking crazy." I hear him say nothing crazy.
Well, no, what I said was, if I could, tell me, if I'm, and I could definitely see obviously the potential problem of what I'm saying, but I also would say this: we've been in crazy land for a long time. We've been in crazy ass land for a long, long time, and
Right.
maybe it's time to just let's be all the way crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And you know what? I just want to say real quick. Since we've been using the WNBA as an example, I would be fine with the WNBA joining the NBA as expansion teams. But we to the little rules. You're not gonna just be taking guys. No, you have all women's team and just put them in the same league as the expansion team, and just let's see if they make the playoffs.
okay. See, you with the foolishness with Uru. I see what's happening here. As I feel this leader, Roger, the Black Uru gave us the opportunity to interrupt him, and you didn't when you should have. So I got to step in. I got to step in, bro. I agree with the sentiment, but we can't take him that far. We can't take him that far. This is now with the WNBA. This is what we need to do, and then I'm gonna expand it into just life in general. What we need to do is when they have the McDonald's All-American team put together at the end of every year, they should play the American McDonald's team every year. Their All-Stars should play the All-Stars of the high school. And when they start winning, we'll start taking them serious. They still gonna get blown out by 200. I promise you.
I
I
mean,
promise you.
that would be a good start. That would be a good
We
start.
should. It should be televised. It should be like part of the All-Star weekend or some jazz like that. It should be televised. Their embarrassment of being beat by children, the best of their entire league being beat by children, should be televised to let them know y'all still ain't got what you think you got yet. And
This sounds like the answer to balloon pop, like the the equaling, balancing the universe type deal.
right. Now wait a second. Now, Roger, because you had a chance to stop this foolishness and you didn't. Hold on. Now to expand that, when you go into the military, you go into these jobs and everything, all the standards should be the same. So if I got to run a mile in 3 minutes, she need to run a mile in 3 minutes.
Exactly.
If I got to lift X amount of pounds and run it with a rucksack for X amount of miles for X amount of time, she should have to do the same thing to get the same reward that I'm gonna get. Like all of it needs to be equal because then they will see, okay, these dudes is just doing things that we can't do, and we do need to relegate ourselves to things that we're good at,
I mean,
such as humanity.
Part of why they've become so disrespectful over the years is they have lost the appreciation in the difference between men and women.
That's where I was
they've
getting
been
to.
able to be casual. They've been able to be very casual about it. They haven't been faced with the. See, women of prior generations were more respectful of men because they were more acutely and much more on a regular basis acquainted with that difference in power and ferocity and durability because of the nature of work we did, because you didn't have the government playing favorites, in how people interacted, in their lives, So you would have like it would be interesting, and if you have a chance, I mean, we've gotten too far away from things, unfortunately, but I briefly, I've said this before. There was a time when I lived with my grandmother and my wife's grandmother, my mother, her mother. We were all in the same house together, and very often our grandmothers would talk to me and about me in a very reverential way, and it was largely because of that respect and regard for men that have been bred into them, and to some degree even fear of men that have been bred into them. And they would, certain things they would, well, he gonna be home soon, so you better, it was that kind of thing, kind of threw my wife off a little bit. It kind of threw her off a little bit because she's been raised in feminist America the last 60 years. But when like I say, well, my mother was a sharecropper, her mother was a sharecropper. The way my grandmother treated her son was different. The way she treated her daughters, the way she spoke to her son, very different than from the way she spoke to my mother and my aunt. Very different, very reverential. So I think they need to be more reacquainted to the difference, and some of that difference might have to be some level of curiosity being of real, true masculine ferociousness unleashed on them a little bit. That's the point I'm making. Not to be abusing women or whatever, but to, imagine if to kind of flip the script. Imagine if you all of a sudden was going to have a fist fight with Mike Tyson, right? A 22-year-old Mike Tyson. Your behavior gonna be different. Your behavior and the way you talk is gonna be different.
I think I get where you're coming from.
We got a new guest up here, and I got to get him in. And I'm gonna say, just yesterday, I saw some random clip, y'all. It was something with Bill Cosby. It's like he was working some job, and George Foreman was in there as another guy working the job, and then he's like,
George Foreman.
you be talking all this stuff every time. It's a problem. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So we can handle this right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, remember the infamous Martin with Tommy Hearns appeared on Martin. Do you remember that?
I just talked about that yesterday too. I just literally talked about that yesterday.
I don't want to fight no more. Junior, I don't want to fight no more.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna cut back. I'm gonna go back in the conversation. I'm gonna deal with some foolishness. The Great Black Reset said. I'm gonna give back to your foolishness, but I'm gonna let this new person get the mic first, which I thought it was another person. So now I don't know who it is, but I got to guess. But we got Michelle's everywhere, which I believe is the homie. Okay, it ain't the homie I thought it was, but now because the other homie is here, so it ain't that homie. And I'm talking about Return of the Pimp Hand. I thought Michelle's everywhere was gonna be Return of the Pimp Hand. So now I'm thinking it's a different homie. So Michelle's everywhere. You got the mic. Do your thing.
Hey, Roger, man. Thanks for having me up. This is Return to Pimp Hand. The Pimp Hands, both of them are strong. and you never see him coming, and they're gonna hit you 3 times.
You know what? I was like, if it ain't him, it's got to be you. I did say that though. I said, if it ain't him, it's got to be you.
Man, I can't. I'm with Black Guru. My mind kind of went there. That's why I kind of was just looking in the clouds. And Black Guru kicked it off. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm with the foolishness too. Yep, I'm gonna be in it. I would like to see Michael Jordan prime nuts all over Angel Reese's head.
Stop!
Yes. I want to see Foolish and Shields.
He did it
take a Mike Tyson uppercut.
to more than enough brothers. She might as well get her chance too.
She got 2. Caitlin Clark and Reggie Miller fighting for who the best in Indiana. Somebody run over Miss Martha Stewart as she attempts to play linebacker against the Chicago Bears. No, but yeah, man, I think if women really took I look at it like this. I would like a rule that they really suffered the pain of what it takes to endure, not just sports, but just with really medical field. Some of these, I mean, we the gynecologists, we shut them out. They can't be a woman gynecologist, can't be a woman optometrist. we doing all the feet and all the Chinese women can't do no feet. Or Korean women can't do no feet. Hey, we giving all the massages, and they can't give them massages. So, hey, we doing all the stripping, and they can't strip nowhere.
Wait, hold on, boss. Hold on. Wait a minute. You going too far. Hey, I need Blue Flame to be open, bro. I need Blue Flame to be open.
I'm down the street from Peaches, so you know I do have to go there every now and then and get a steak.
I get it. You don't want to, you have to. We get it.
I have to. But they really don't want. I think I'm talking to my cousin about this the other day. One of my cousins, we came up to, we summed it up. She didn't get enough ass whooping growing up with all the stuff she'd been doing, and versus they used to get the butt whoopings. But she was the last one of the last few growing up. So the butt whippings just went out the window. We couldn't have no pets in the crib. She had a cat and a dog and a freaking bird and a damn hamster or a lizard sometimes. We couldn't have none of that. We had birds, but for cats and dogs, nah. We were too busy as kids on the move to, run around with your Dorothy Tillmans and all that stuff. We too busy on the move to have pets like that. But what's missing, the women have not been told no enough. No, you can't do this. And here's why. Because, even though we grew up learning martial arts, I had a Tai Chi class with my cousins growing up. Majority, that's 5 girls. 5 girls versus 2 boys. And I think my Kung Fu instructor, he kind of let stuff free flow a little bit when it came down to the class winding down, where you would be facing a girl every now and then. But as a young boy growing into a man, I know I can't kick her in the freaking face like I want to. I got to use all hands. I got to have some type of code or some type of technique to let her know you done for. That's it. I got my head in.
Yeah,
right. So I used to
that you don't have to have for other men.
Right. I used to just let them know I used to tap them. I used to reach around and tap them on the back of the neck or tap them over their head. Oh, you done? Because if I could do that, I could have just took you out. Or sometimes, I might, if the girl had a big butt, I'd slap them on the butt. Yeah, you done. You done for. Yep. So with Ms. Brown. Then, it later on ensued outside where everybody want to wrestle and throw snowballs, and the girls still, but they understood that you're not as strong as a man, you're not as durable as a man. You can have the quickness, but it's going to take a lot more work to get where I'm at. There's a certain levels you got to work to. And a lot of these women don't want to work those levels. They want to hand it to them.
All right.
And I
Yeah,
Well,
land my
you know
plane
what?
there, man.
yeah.
Great points, great points. And we got one more new guest, y'all. We got Return of the Pimp Hand. So let me let him get the mic, and then I'm gonna get back on the Great Black Reset for the foolishness that he started. But you'll see what I mean when I get back to you. All right,
Man,
go
I'm
ahead.
ready for that smoke. I'm ready for that little smoke you got.
I'll catch it after you, I guess.
Return of the Pimp Hand. You got the mic, my brother.
All right, gentlemen. Happy Wednesday to all of you.
Hey,
Happy Thursday, brother.
Happy New Year.
I
Hump
see,
day.
I see, I see Roger trying to save the hoes once again. He trying to interfere. We said we're gonna run that fade, and here he is on some. Nah, they should have the opportunity to win. We are giving them the opportunity to win by competing against us. If you want to take out the apex predator, you're gonna have to face the apex predator. Ain't no way around it. We're not going to lower the standard. We're not going to lower the rims. We're not doing none of that. I think every year there should be an international Olympic game where all sports will compete against female sports. We got World Cup soccer, male versus females, NBA versus WNBA. Them weak nothing but acids. We gonna have volleyball, tennis. We're gonna have all of that, and it should be plastered all over the screens, all over the world, just to remind them of the differences between us and them. And also, boxers, MMA, all of that, you know, because some of them have been drinking the feminazis Kool-Aid for so long that they tend to forget exactly who we are. And I think we need to readdress the situation, reset the clock, reset the balance to tell them this is who you're messing with. You know, I know they're good. Don't get it twisted. Some of them can give us a good run for our money, but at the end of the day, they are number two, and we have to show them why we are number one because they have forgotten.
Okay. Okay. Heck of an opening statement. Now I'm gonna say it ain't me trying to save him. It's Great Black Reset trying to save him. Now, how do I know it's Great Black Reset trying to save him? Because he say, you know what, we should take these women, WNBA players, and put them against the high school guys. No, brother, that's trying to save them. They don't need to play no kids. They need to be expansion teams in the NBA. And you know what happened? I'm pretty sure some money will be earned. I'm pretty sure people will continue to go to the games if an all women's team had to play an all men's team. I'm pretty sure that game would attract an attendance. Okay. And guess what? If it ends up being 235 to 12, then it's just 235 to 12 at the end of the game.
Man,
With charity.
Right, if men start breaking all types of records because they ended up playing an all-female team, it is what it is. And you know
man,
what, I'm cool with the women being able to draft the best of women while the men continue to draft the best of men. And you know what, 235 to 12 don't sound that bad to me. It don't
No,
sound that bad. And you know
Roger.
what, sometimes instead of having this load management stuff where guys are sitting out, no, just keep on playing, but you get an easier game here or there because you know we finna go on this West Coast trip and we got 3 female teams while we on this West Coast trip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with that. I'm
yo,
good with that.
you
Man,
don't
we
Nobody
you
don't
don't
getting
even
know
load managed. You know,
we
you,
don't
you
we
don't you
don't
don't know
even
how much I would pay to see LeBron James nuts all over this what's her name again? Caitlin
what
Clark chick
well,
dunking all over
I don't want to pay no extra money. I don't want to pay no extra money. But at the prices they already got, if they just let the all female teams get in, and the only distinction is the female teams just stay female and the male teams stay male teams, the women can draft the best of females, and as men are already doing, they continue to draft the best of men, and you put it out there and and give them a fair opportunity to see if they can make the playoffs. That's it.
man.
I
All
think
we
it's
gotta
fair.
all we gotta do is put one male team in the WNBA. Let Ronnie James be the shooting guard, and put some scout team players out there and watch the boys go whatever 40-0.
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. And I do think that would be a quality experiment. But my thing is, I'm a cool person. I want you to have it the way you're supposed to have it. I don't want to deny you nothing. You get a full 82 game NBA schedule with the rest of them, and let's see how many games you win. You know,
Y'all,
now
y'all, y'all, y'all want women fighting in the Kumite. That's what y'all want to see.
No, bro. I want them to have a fair chance to earn big. They not gonna go 0-82. They still got to play each other. You know,
you want Bill Dukes. You want Bill Dukes to beat up Ronda Rousey. That's what you really want.
No. That's not what I want. What I want is a fair society. And as a person who continually asks women, where is it that we have advantages that you don't? And women are either refusing to answer the question or they don't have the ability to answer the question. And my thing is, I'm going to go with they ain't got the ability to answer the question because I'm being nice. You don't have the ability to answer the question because it doesn't exist. Now, if it ain't that, it's just you refuse to answer the question because you a liar and you know it doesn't exist. Those are the only two real options I got. So I'm trying to give them the nice option. You're ignorant and you just don't know any better. And I can take it as that. And to be fair with you, I'm gonna give you the fair opportunity. So you take on a full 82 game schedule, and y'all see if y'all can make the playoffs, just like everybody else got to do. That's what the men teams got to do. They get to play 82 games. That's the only thing you get to do in the NBA. You get to play your 82. Well, now they got the play in, so now you get to play in, and then if you can make the playoffs, then you get to have a playoff run. Give them a full 82.
You know, every year in football, there's always a team that's in like a lower type of division that'll go up against somebody that's in a higher type of division, and they just get stomped early in the season. I mean, they just get waxed. It's like a sacrificial team for the most part. But that happens every year. So, hey, if that can happen there, that can happen here.
Yeah, blowouts happen, man. It's the nature of sports. Every once in a while, somebody getting blowed out. Now, would it be profitable to put some WNBA teams to play male teams, and every once in a while, you could be a great follower of your team. Every once in a while, your team gonna have to play the women's team, and there's a possibility that they're gonna blow them out. Is that gonna be good for income when it comes to the NBA? I think it would be, because I don't think people gonna be like, well, I mean, there's a lot of times where people, when you got male team versus male team, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna miss that game because I know how this is gonna come out. I think more people would watch that game when they already know or really truly believe who the winner gonna be. I really believe the Bulls gonna beat the LA Sparks. I really believe that. But you know what I'm probably gonna do? I'm gonna probably watch that game. You know? Now, if the Bulls is playing another bad NBA team, you might miss that game. You're gonna prioritize. I ain't gonna catch this, but I'm gonna catch them. You know what I'm saying? The champs coming to town. I'm gonna catch that game. I'm gonna watch them when they play OKC. But you increase everything. So my thing is, you make it more profitable. And this ain't me trying to help the NBA out, even though if they use this idea, it would actually help them out. I just think women do really need to be made to face reality, and guys don't make them do it. We are with the nonsense. We tell women, you know what? You're right. We should do something, and we should try to make things better for you. I don't know how to make something better for a person who already. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't know. I have no interest in making something better for a person who already has advantages over me. I ain't got no interest in that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die before I ever have that as an interest.
That's kind of one of those things with the whole like white knight type deal. It's like changing things in actual reality because of somebody's internal feelings.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say shout out to Emerald Ed 72. He say easy gambling prospects. What you know what? Even in gambling, they say the house always wins. Okay, well y'all, we gonna bet the other games, but can I get an easy bet every once in a while? Can I get an easy bet? You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna make all y'all money back when we bet on the other teams where the men are going against the men. So you're gonna get all your money back. Okay. And if some women want to get out there and play football, I'm cool with that too. If it's some women out there that want to play hockey, you know what'll probably make me watch hockey? An all-female team joining the hockey league.
Yeah.
I don't watch hockey. You know, and I'm just keep. Go ahead.
Remember the women's arena football league that the women had, the laundry league?
Oh man, that was nice.
Wow. You know, women on hockey, now that I've been used to you signing on for you are signing off on some shit.
Listen.
Don't stop that. Now you want to draw the line. Now you want to draw the line.
Yeah,
I guess that was a brief.
I mean, it's almost it's basically saying you want women to play in track. That's basically what you're saying. You want to see women play.
I am definitely not saying that. What I am saying is, I think realistically for me, as I believe there's a large contingent of black men who don't necessarily watch hockey. I'm gonna be 100% real. I barely watched it when the Blackhawks was winning, but it was the Blackhawks. And that's why I looked at some of the stuff, because it's my Chicago team winning championships. But I barely watched it then. Now, would I watch games where a men's hockey team is going to play some official women's hockey team? I'm probably more likely to be drawn into the sport if that were actually happening. And I'm just being realistic. Why? Because the curiosity about how this is going to play out would actually be there. Now, next thing you know, I'm watching this stuff on a regular basis. Next thing you know, I'm a hockey fan. The sport wins. Women win. And you can justify them earning more money because they are doing something where they're drawing the funds in.
They will win, but they will pay a heavy price. They're paying cheap price, man.
All these skaters gonna be out the rest of the season after the first game.
It's always more women to join the team now. You ain't gonna run out of women. You ain't gonna run out of women. You may have to have
Hey, when they see that first hockey, no, you're not going to be able to recruit any more women after that first hockey match.
Nah, I mean,
at least 500,000 women to be employed, though.
I mean,
some 500,000 women, they can join somebody's league.
First of all, I'm ashamed of you men. Y'all don't want Beth Selinsky to get a chance, okay? Beth is a grown woman. If she want to go out there and lose her teeth while going for the Stanley Cup, that's Beth Selinsky's business, okay? Let Beth have her chance. I am not a bad guy, okay? I'm a fair-minded person. I think Beth Selinsky, whoever she is, needs to be able to have a chance to get out there and get her a Stanley Cup. Now, I don't expect her to win the first time, but just like any other expansion team, after a while, you'll get it. After a while. May take a while, but eventually you'll get one. I mean, the shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. They ain't never won a Super Bowl, but they get to try every year. They get to try. Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Real talk. You know?
Yeah.
Now that feminism is gonna kick in and all this too, because they're gonna want to change the names of the trophies. It won't be no Dick Buckets Award. It's gonna be a Marcy Buckets Award.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be no Stanley Cup Award. It's gonna be a Queen Elizabeth Award.
Well, maybe they'll compromise with him and give him something. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give him something. You know. I'm gonna say shout out to Sarah B. She say Rufus nice guy proposes logical solution. Thank you, Sarah B. I appreciate you saying that. I'm just trying to do something where everybody can win at the end of the day. I'm for a fair society, y'all. That's why I believe in equality at work, and I believe outside of work, when you're in social situations, men should be men and women should be women, because I think that's fair. And that's all it is to it at the end of the day. I'm going to acknowledge the difference between men and women, and I expect women to acknowledge the difference between men and women, because that's the right thing to do. But I don't want to ever be said I'm trying to keep opportunity from them. It's too many variables to deal with your outcomes, but I'm good with you getting the opportunity. If you can make the squad, make the squad. Do you? You know, and technically, y'all, let's be real. If the WNBA teams was allowed to be expansion teams in the NBA, there would be women who will start earning millions of dollars. That guess what? A guy like me still can't earn, because I can't join the women's team. Now you got a Bev Selinsky with a contract where she getting 17 million a year. I don't get that 17 million. I'm a man. I'm good with that though. I couldn't make the men's team. I deal with it. She could make the women's team. I'm all right with that. That's fair to me. But what I don't want to do is operate as if women in the United States of America don't already have advantages over me simply by being women. Because that's what society shows in any category you want to find. When men have to do the same thing women do, they get an advantage. When I get pulled over for a speeding ticket, I am more likely to get the ticket than some woman who gets put over for a speeding ticket, because some women can look good enough to get a warning. The average cop, even if it's a female cop, ain't finna let me out for looking good. Let's be realistic about it. You know, let's be realistic. You know, and I ain't saying that woman ain't never let me off the hook before, because there was one woman, she was super fine. But she caught me going down the wrong way on the street. And she was with a partner. I really wanted to holler at her, but I ain't do it, because I was like, well, she let me off the hook. I ain't gonna mess this up. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to date her, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay this ticket either. I'm gonna leave that alone. So it can happen, but it's just not likely. But we are at the 3-hour mark, y'all. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna give y'all some closing statements. So you was the last one up, so you're gonna be the first one to go. Return of the pimp hand. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Yep. If they want full equality, give them all the equality that they want. Equality and everything. No more lowering standards. No more participation trophies. None of that. You want that gold, you're gonna have to fight for that gold.
Well said, brother. Well said. Great Black Reset. You want to say something before we go? We're gonna save Uru last.
Okay. I think the ladies need to understand their lack of gratitude and entitlement is stirring up a pot of something that they ain't gonna want to eat later on. They better be careful. I'll land my plane there.
Black Uru, anything you want to say before we get on up out of here?
Yeah,
Wait, you know,
this is
Black Uru,
kind of
I'm sorry,
spiking.
Black Uru. No disrespect. Uh, Michelle's everywhere was coming back in. So, and I said I'm gonna save you the last, and I try to be a man of my word. So, Michelle's everywhere. Is there anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Yes, Roger. To the Michelle's everywhere who think they can do everything that a man can do, that want to circumvent his leadership, his physicality, and his mentality. No, 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 and no. And I land my plane there. Thanks for having me, brother.
All right, now Black Uru, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Don't be mad at me, brother. I ain't cut you off out of disrespect. That was respect for you, because I was saving the best for last. That was respect for you, brother. That's what that
No,
was.
no, get him Black Uru. Get it, get it.
Bro, I'm not. Don't say that. But I think what has been, and this, I guess, this message is somewhat somber. Is that one of the other things that feminism did was it, I think, to some degree, distracted from the resolution of racism in this country. Assuming that such was even possible, assuming it was even possible, and I think that's That's a tremendous assumption. But it created this wedge issue amongst us, such that rather than dealing with the fundamental issue of this country's origin, uh, its existence, its foundation, rather than resolving that, and perhaps in a way that might have been a greater mutual benefit to everybody, it imparted this Trojan horse within us, where it was presented to be the resolution of something, and something that was to be applauded and to be celebrated. But then it had the entire opposite effect, where it has broken down not just black families, black communities, breaking down white families, white communities, getting the spread and the other. You see a lot of weird stuff now, similar stuff happening among Asian people, Indian people, Americans, um, uh, Arab and Islamic. It's an insidious disease that is spreading amongst all of us and eroding all of us. So again, rather than resolving the issues, the alleged issues between black men and between men and women, it has worsened and exacerbated all of them to the point of the erosion of the society itself. And I mentioned that Trump was, has been to some degree an anecdote to the problem. Assuming he is such, too little, too late. It is too much of the corrosion that has been permeated all of the fibers in the mortar within the I guess the masonry of the society, such that it likely will have to fall before then some men are wrought from it that will not at all tolerate what we have electively allowed to tolerate. And for the younger men, I would just say, find every opportunity to compete in the world unencumbered by females. I would let that guide my schooling. I might recommend that you not attend schools with females. I would let that guide most of my employment and business. I might choose profession that is light on the participation of females, because they have become a corrosive thing that, in addition to everything else, and maybe worse, so is they've made us as human beings, and as men in particular, they've made us less competitive. They've made us less strong. They've made us less provocative and evocative and perspective in our vision and our approach to life and to what we're going to do into the world. And so I say again, for you younger men, with every opportunity that you have, find that opportunity to limit the influence of females in what you do. Now, in my closing statement with that.
And I'm just gonna say, y'all, to close it on out, this goes far beyond sports. And I'm only saying this because it's funny to me. I really wouldn't mind the Chicago Bulls, who are only 23-23, y'all, not even safely getting to the playoffs yet. Not even safely getting to the playoffs. I mean, we're only about half the season in. But if they had to play, the Las Vegas Aces, I can see them coming out with a nice 176 to 32 win. If they had to go against the New York Liberty, a 155 to 50 win game. See, if the Bulls had a few of those games, we might be in better position. That's all I'm saying. We might be in better position, okay? And shout out to everybody who kind of peeped what I did when I just said which teams did they just beat. Just if you peeped what I did, shout out to you. That's all I'm gonna say. You're a real basketball fan if you just peeped what I did. Okay. But no, real talk. We gotta stop as men operating as if we're in a world where women don't already have the advantage. If you live in America, the women already have the advantage. So why are we feeling bad for somebody who has an advantage over us? If anything, they should be shamed because they have an advantage over us. You should be able to outperform me because that's just how things are geared towards you. I don't want to hear no excuses when everything is already in your favor. If I accept women are in a worse position than me, I might as well say, well, from a racial standpoint, white folks got it worse than me because it make the same level of sense. It really does. And I'm gonna close it out right there. And I know that's gonna be hard for somebody to accept. But when you think about it, all you're gonna do is figure out I'm right. You have a good rest of your day. If you are new here, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Y'all hype me up every chance you get. Leave comments, have the stream, do all that good stuff. But definitely subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.